everybody, and welcome to round 12 of the AMSOIL GNCC Racing Series presented by Maxxis and AMA National Championship. We're here in St. Clairsville, Ohio today to see if anybody can step up and knock off newly crowned champion Walker Fowler on his MFAB AmPro Yamaha. It's going to be a great day of racing here on RacerTV.com.
And thank you very much, Megawan, as we welcome you here to the starting line now as the stage is being set for this penultimate round of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship in this Powerline Park GNCC as we introduce to you today's starting lineup. Rolling to the line first today, he rides aboard the number 1. He could possibly wrap up his second and consecutive GNCC title right here in his home state of Ohio. Hailing from Rogers on a Maxxis MFAB AmPro Yamaha, backed by LSR, MXP, and FMF, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line second today, his toughest competitor, hailing from West Union, West Virginia, on board the number 521, backed by CST Tires, LSR, Induction Solutions, DeRisi Racing, SG, and Tire Blocks, Adam McGill. Rolling to the line today, third in points. He's aboard the number 4 and a 6-time GNCC champion out of Sunbury, Pennsylvania. He is also the winningest GNCC racer of all times on a Maxxis Fly Racing AMSOIL Suzuki, Chris Borich. Rolling to the line today, fourth in points. He is aboard the number 5 from right here out of the great state of Ohio. On a Coastal Racing MXR, Maxxis-backed Yamaha from Bidwell, known as the Bidwell Bullet, the number 5, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line next, fresh off a second-place podium finish just 1 week ago in West Virginia. He rides aboard the number 733, a former XC2 Pro-Am champion from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, on an MFAB Maxxis Yamaha, Cole Coltrane Richardson. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 3, 6th in points from Casca, Pennsylvania, on a JMR ATVRiders.com DWT backed Honda. He's the Cobra, Jared McClure. Rolling to the line next today, he rides aboard the number 11. He is 7th in points on a Show Hauler Canyon Motorsports GBC-backed Honda from Manchester, Maryland, LW Landon Wolf. Rolling to the line next, another Ohio native from Akron, Ohio, on board the number 14 Yamaha, backed by BNR, Maxxis, and Moose Racing, Josh Merritt. Rolling to the line next, aboard the number 9 from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, on a Precision Axis Pro Graphics Maxxis-backed Yamaha, Jay Shadron. And rolling to the line next, another Ohio native, a racer that has over 3 decades of GNCC racing experience and 20 years on the pro row. He hails out of Aurora, Ohio, on a GBC HMF Fly Racing Yamaha, Johnny GNCC, Johnny Gallagher. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 12. Welcoming back another Ohio native from Hopedale on a BNR GBC-backed Yamaha, Kevin Yoho. Next to the line, aboard the number 22 from St. Mary's, West Virginia, on a JK Racing AC Motorsports Pirate MX-backed Honda, James Green. Number 816, hailing from Grain Valley, Missouri, on a Shockworks Motorsports Exit RSF Effects GBC Tires backed Honda, Tucker Wyatt. And welcoming back to the GNCC fold for the second consecutive week, another Ohio native from Medina, Ohio, on the number 341, the family man, the Wolfpack himself, Brian Wolf. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this Polaris Ace Powerline Park GNCC. As moments away, the green flag will be waving and GNCC racing will be underway as we fire them back up one final time here on the starting line, and one final moment to get those last few nerves out of your system before the start of this race is underway. It all began here in 2001, 15 years ago, as we are set to embark upon the 16th running of this Powerline Park GNCC, my friends, and you are a part of history. As we said, a championship quite possibly about ready to be crowned right here today, in a consecutive championship by Walker Fowler, one that he said that he really wanted to win probably as much, if not more, than that first championship, because he said he did not want to be the first ATV title holder in recent history not to have consecutive back-to-back titles. And you got to understand that, my friends, because, man, whenever you look at the likes of guys like, of course, Barry Hawk, and you look at, of course, Bob Sloan before that, and you look, of course, at Bill Balance and Chris Borich, and now Walker Fowler, he is in line with some mighty big names and some big greats as far as GNCC racing is concerned. And we're just 1 minute away, my friends, 1 minute away from seeing this green flag wave and GNCC underway for the 12th time here in 2016. Hard to believe we are 12 rounds deep into this 13-round series, and we are this close to crowning a champion. As the blue flag is out, shut them down, guys, shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. And I got to ask you, Ohio, being here in the heart of GNCC racing country, I got to ask you, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Come on, Ohio. I heard a little bit of that. I got to be, that was pretty weak, especially for Ohio. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to redeem yourself. I'm going to ask you one more time. Ohio, are you ready to go Powerline Park GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at a Polaris Ace Powerline Park GNCC. $250 up for grabs as they round the first turn in the All Balls Hot Cams Whole Shot Award, and it's going to be Walker Fowler. Fowler followed by the 521, and there is the number 4 of Chris Borich opening up in the number 3 spot as we turn our attention now down to the XC2 Pro-Am class here on the starting line with Marty Christopherson, Randy Hamilton, Greg Covert, Kenny Schick, Levi Cohen, Wes Kinsley, Andrew Connors, Cody Collier, Danny Rogers, Bryson Hobbs, Matthew Lindell, Braden Nichols, Dwight Pollard, Wesley Wolf, Billy Dalton, and Brett Hinkey, all ready to roll on Ricky Towery's cue as he readies these riders. We're now down less than 30, and as he signals these riders, it's time to go in 10 seconds. And the green flag waves, and the machines roll into the first turn as they are set to dice it out for the $100 All Balls Hot Cams Whole Shot Award. And I believe that was Randy Hamilton, maybe. I sure didn't quite catch that number on that. It was a DeRisi racing machine, actually. So we'll move on down to Dwight Pollard, who got the whole shot on that one. So good job, Dwight Pollard, 706 out of Clayton, Georgia. The Junior A22 Plus class, Steve Covert, Cody Wolford, Nicholas Mastrangelo, Jed Claypool, along with James Mauger, Dirk DeCesar, Ryland Johnson, Jeff Miller, Zachary Dean, Dalton Berger, and Josh Konachek. 10 seconds. Junior A22 Plus. Oh. That is such a beautiful sound as that green flag waves and these 11 riders in the 22 plus Junior A class make their way into that first turn. It's the 77 and Nick Mastrangelo from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, going to cross the stripe first there. Not sure. He was pretty far outside. Whether or not he's going to be able to hold on to that lead as the Bet A 28-plus class. Some very recognizable names here. And A.J. Kuntz, Wes Stone, Todd Muscala, the Marlboro Man, Kenneth Kelly, Jeffrey Pickens, Big Papa P, Matthew Ellison, Nicholas Carnelli, also Jared Little, Walter Schumacher, Joey Margaria, Dustin Hendershot, Brad Whitehead, and Adam Reed in 10 seconds. Oh, good jump by Big Papa P. Jeff Pickens out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania. Those GBC tires hooking up for him as he'll grab the early lead in this one now. College A 16 to 21-year-old Devin Fionn, Drew Landers, Nick Royalty, Hunter Hart, Mason Wallace, Logan Wagaman, Jake Scott, Andy Tavelli, Brandon Eicher, Braden Schick, Seth Wilson, Corey Silverthorne, Wyatt Wilka, Tyler Ware, Shane Kittle, Tanner Walker, Brody Lamoureux, and Andrew Herring. All ready to roll in this College A 16 to 21-year-old class in a matter of only 10 seconds. And there they go. Wow, another big jump there by one of our Yamaha pilots. See if he can handle it through that first turn, swinging way out wide, set himself up good. Oh, look at here, though. It's going to be the 441 Maxxis Tire DeRisi Racing Tire Spine back. Brandon Eichard out of Hickory, North Carolina, though, still in the show there in the turn 2. Senior AB, Jeff Range, Jason Noble, Rob Zimmerman, Chris Berry, Mark Batson, Rusty Repass, Arthur Blystone, Andy Cooper, and Kevin Longston. All ready to roll next here. 10 seconds. And they're off. Rounding that first turn they go now as they continue to jockey for position. See if we can get a number on this one. 704 Rusty Repass out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Junior B class, 22 years of age and older. Brian Felicki, Brett Fike, also Evan Timko, Tyler Palmer, David Kite, Charles Dawson, Neil Tolston, Chris Ballou, Jay Turner, Tyler Copland, along with Grant Pig, Tyler Wiley, Travis Matthias. 10 seconds. Bradley Stapleton, Jake Callan, Justin Farrell, Tyler Miller, and Ryan Bovis. Wow, Brett Fike on the inside might get pinched off there, but wow, what a good jump for him. Ooh, let's see here. 3-1-0, Evan Timko, a hometown boy from right here out of St. Clairsville, Ohio, on ntwonline.com. National Tire and Wheel there. Actually, that's one of the people that own the property right where we sit. He's sponsored by them. That beat 30-plus class off and rolling next will be Jeremy Gouchard, Alan Tuttle, Philip Thayer, Jason Dillard, Aaron Hendershot, Charlie Rogers, Lyle Morrison, Matt LePage, Will Jones, Wes Spinks. 10 seconds. Corey Bligowitz, also Chris Bennett, John Salsa, Big Willie Porter, Ricky Zorn, Dale Batson, David Rudder, and Matt Miller. Not sure, that might have been LePage or David Rudder, but that's your Bet B. Up next is going to be the College B, 16 to 21-year-old Scott Pearson, Donner Boylan, Mark Miller, Andrew Manbeck, John Graham, Joey Lambright, Morgan Flannery, Cage Chrisman, Trenton Dishman, Joseph Yerkson, Ezra Barrick, Logan Weisenhour, Cade Vanderpool. 10 seconds. Michael Anderson, Mitchell Edelblut, Caleb Lloyd, Joel Smith, Caleb Hagan, Frankie Egress, Ryan Vest, also Chandler Berner, Tyler Swindle. Looking at Corey Vandeliner, Ethan Petro, and Landon Williams. Around that first turn they roll. It is the 78 of Scott Pearson. Pearson on point out of Windsor, New York on a Hauser Racing DP Brakes DMR back machine. And that is our start here, folks. We look down, looks like all the riders here this afternoon have made their way onto this Powerline Park GNCC trail. And of course, we're going to catch up with our leaders and find out how things are starting to shake down when we return here on RacerTV.com in just a moment.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Racer TV's coverage of the Powerline Park GNCC. I'm Megawatt Matt Watson, joined here by Fred Andrews, and of course, our host will be here in just a few moments, Rodney Tomlin. Fred Andrews, the story here, the weather the last 48 hours. Hasn't rained here in weeks, and in the last 48 hours, about 7 inches of rain, man. Some incredible number, but I tell you, as you mentioned, already starting to see a little bit of dust in some spots in the woods, and as we watched our last few classes take off the starting line, seeing dust off of the first turn.
Yeah, Megawatt, I was really surprised to see the dust this early in the day because I only live an hour north of here, and we've had so much rain these past few days. I figured we'd come down here and see a swamp, but being the facility that we have here, it's on a mound, it's on a big hill, and it's got all rolls off down into the creek. So you're right. I'm not surprised to see the dust. I walked a little bit earlier today, and there was dust kicking up from the morning classes, so I see this track being in primo conditions. Without the rain that we had, we'd be really dusty, and it wouldn't be much of a race. But today, these guys are going to be a race head-to-head.
I couldn't agree more, Fred. What you're going to have is you're going to have tacky traction out there. You're not going to have that blinding dust. You're going to be able to have vision and make moves that you normally wouldn't be able to move in those low visibility conditions caused by notorious dust here at the Powerline Park.
Yeah, one thing about this place, we've been coming here for a while, Powerline Park.
You told me 16 years?
Yeah, I just read that, 16 years.
Wow.
So that shows you how good this track is and how big of a fan base we have. Everybody loves to come watch this race, and our turnouts here every year are getting better and better. But the track itself is really hard. The dirt's really hard, and with this little bit of moisture on top, I think it's going to be a little bit slippery right at first. And the quad guys probably aren't going to have that big of a problem with it, where tomorrow on the bikes it'd be a little bit more of a problem. But this facility is like a lot of other races we come to. There's a lot of different lines, a lot of different places to go, so the racing should be epic today.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. What's going to happen as the lappers do come into play here on lap number 2 or so, you're going to have plenty of room out there today, Fred. You're not going to have some of those dusty conditions hiding some of those lines. You're going to be able to have good visibility. You're going to be able to set those moves up far ahead in more time than you normally would, say, at one of our previous races where you have the kind of dust that is known to happen here at St. Clairsville.
Yeah, you know, another things, too, we got here, we got some obstacles that could change the race. We've got Gus's mud hole down the bottom, which is a big old county road, and now it's just full of water. So you go in there, if you don't pick the right line, boom, up to your handlebars. And then also we've got the creek jump, the mud jump, where all the spectators are at. And we heard from our spotters out there that Adam McGill in the first lap actually jumped the creek and crashed, got off his bike, got stuck, and flipped off his bike. So that could be a make or break it for you. You know, that's a real tricky area down there because you're going off a jump and you're landing in the swamp. You know, we didn't run it in the morning class because we wanted to save it for the afternoon. We didn't want to get it too tore up. But these guys, you know, you're jumping 20, 30 feet and landing in the mud, your quad just wants to stick. So you have to land with the gas on. Hopefully that with the wheels spinning as fast as they are, that'll actually land. Instead of sticking, it'll actually pull you through there.
prior to the broadcast, Fred, we sat here and talked about that. You'd asked me if I'd seen it. You'd mentioned the takeoff, but your big concern was the landing. I said, well, they put a little chicane in. I said, it's going to be soft on that takeoff, but like you said, Fred, we said it was going to be a spitter, and sure enough, one of the first guys getting spit off was Adam McGill as he come around there. So I'm going to have to say, with those results with the first few riders, things are only going to get softer and wider and more spread out. The carnage is going to be, there we go, starting to see our jump now, starting to get coverage of it right now. A huge bunch of people down there right now. And as you said, Fred, standing water for about 8 to 10 feet, and then water that's been drug up out of there. But the problem is, that's the bottom of the course, Fred. That water's been laying there for a long time. Yeah, all this water and rain that we've had has come down the hill, and it's all got right down there in that area. And also, if you don't want to jump the jump, there is alternative line. You know, the GNCC crew has done a great job. You've got some lines to your left, and if that does get bad, you know, everybody has a chance to go somewhere else. Like this guy here is going to the left. It's a little bit longer. I wouldn't say it's any easier. As you can see, you're still going to get muddy. You still got a chance of getting stuck, but you don't have to jump and land in the mud and worry about flipping over the handlebars. And also, when you come to this jump here, you don't want to roll over that jump. Megawatt, you want to jump over that, because if you roll over front wheel first down there, that water's, you know, it's deep. It's got a little bit of hole there. You can flip over the handlebars that way. Oh, no doubt about that, Fred. And I don't know that I'd want to take my chances on the long way around after lap 1, because you know it's going to get augered out and hogged out big time. But you know, Fred, we talk about this weather that we've had here. Been extremely dry in this particular location, but yet in some places not so far away had a lot of rain so far early this season. I believe we've got a feature here on the local area. And as you can see by the little short clip we had there, it wasn't only a challenge at the racetrack today, but getting in to get park was a challenge for everybody. Absolutely. Had all kinds of wet weather, and I can tell you right now, Fred, as we start to move into the afternoon, this little bit of sun is going to make a huge difference. This little bit of breeze is going to make it easier to move around this facility for sure. But you see a couple riders now opting to take that jump. Yeah, you know, and the sun's come out, so that's actually drying everything up. The guys riding around there are turning the dirt up, and the air's getting to it, so it's going to dry up, and we are definitely going to see some dust today. And yeah, that guy on that quad right there jumped that and made it look easy. Absolutely. So I'd be curious to see exactly what happened with those first few riders. But as we know, there's probably a soft spot right there somewhere. He's lucky enough to hit the hard ground, because Adam McGill should be able to jump that jump and not, you know, have. Yeah, and you know, I heard that out of the first few riders, several riders had some problems, so obviously must have been going to the wrong side. And also on this jump too, you know, you're committed. When you're behind some guy and you turn and he's jumping, you're in there. If he crashes, look out, you're landing on him. So yeah, this is full commitment there. There's no escape route. Oh, awesome, great. We've got a replay of XC1 working their way through, Fred, which is what we were just talking about, so going to be able to check it out right here. Oh, yep. You can see he jumped right there a little bit too far to the left, got in that soft spot, and luckily his little balancing act, his tumbling he did when he was a young kid, saved him from flipping all the way over. I would say. Now look, oh my goodness, who is that? Is that the Sneaky Snake? That's a Sneaky Snake. Wow. Are you kidding? Oh, and there's Cole Richardson taking out the Coastal guy. Wow. Not on purpose, of course, but you know, people jump out there to help, but that's something you have to watch out. He's up. These guys are coming, and you never know where they're coming from. And look at this. He's back in the mix, the Coastal guy. he's back in the mix waiting. But what's happened here, Fred, these guys were actually over jumping. They weren't coming up short in the least bit. These guys were over jumping into the soft. So here we are back live, it looks like. And we'll see how this mud hole continues to develop. But take a look at that crowd, Fred. What's that do for you, man, besides make you smile? Look at that.
Well, when you come down there and these guys are all yelling and screaming, it just pumps you up so much, and you're so excited. You hit that jump, and probably what Adam McGill did, you know, as we know, it's better to jump too far than too short. So Adam's first time at it. He's first guy. He's guinea pig.
And you know what? You know, it was always your theory. I saw you as a motocrosser a lot of times. You were the first guy to jump something. You were the first guy to put a rhythm together at a lot of outdoor stuff. And as you know, you were going to come up long instead of short.
Yeah, you don't want to come up short and go flipping over the handlebars. But, you know, Adam McGill is just a little bit off. He landed in that little bit of water, so the bike kind of stuck. And as you can see here on the screen now, these guys are really getting after it here. And Adam McGill is still leading out here in these open fields. And look how good the traction is. These guys can come from anywhere they want to and just power on and just smooth sailing.
I tell you, Fred, you'd almost have to call that perfect color. When you look at that dirt right now, and you can imagine what, well, you were here. You saw what we were standing in putting this place together 2 days ago. And to look out there right now and to see perfect field conditions, something you did not think you were going to see last night at 5 o'clock, I can tell you.
No, and when the rain was coming down, there's no way I thought it would turn out this good. And everybody that's watching on TV right now and was thinking about coming tomorrow, you need to get out here because the parking lot's good. You can park anywhere you want. The weather's good. The sun's out. There's a lot of good racing going on.
I got to tell you, Fred, that right there, look at that. That big McGill roost, the first time he came through, I'm not sure who that was, but when Adam come through, he just threw that big topsoil grassy roost out there. And it doesn't get any better, Fred. I mean, that's peak condition right here at St. Clairsville.
It sure is. You know, and Adam McGill had a little off day last race. I figured in West Virginia being his home state and the rocks and stuff, he would have put an effort into win that race. Not that he didn't put an effort into it, but I thought he would be the guy to beat there at that race. Even though Walker's been on his game, I thought Adam McGill and the rocks would be the way it was. So I never did get to talk to Adam to see if it was his setup was off or he was just having a bad day. But it looks like today he's got everything working well, and he's out there in the lead. Going to put it to him.
Certainly looks like the bike's working. You know, as he brought it through the corners, as he decelerated and stuff, the bike wasn't diving, the bike wasn't pitching, and be honest with you, it looked like it's working really good. And when Adam's in that groove, you know, when he's in that zone, like so many riders, two totally different people.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking back at the last few years here. You know, Adam McGill's been in the top 3 the last 5 years we've been here. Adam McGill has been in the top 3. Last year he came second to Walker Fowler, and actually Walker Fowler's got a 3-year win streak going right now.
Yeah, that says a lot about this place. These guys, some of our top competitors, always finishing up front here, says a lot about the conditions here and the quality of track that you always have.
Yeah, it shows you that Adam McGill's familiar with this place. He likes this race, and he likes what's going on here. So, you know, it could tighten up today. We're going to have some good racing going on. And hopefully we got a camera down maybe at Gus's water hole. We can show you guys how deep it is down there. But that's pretty far away to get. But if you could just picture an old county road, it's a hard bottom with water that goes up almost up over the top of the wheels.
Yeah, and, you know, I always had good luck down there. I always picked good lines down there. Was always able to pass a lot of riders in that hole. But I could tell you how many riders did we see meet their doom down there in Gus's hole over the years. You know, have a good ride going and just go a little left, huh, Fred?
Yeah, or they go a little bit too fast. And that's something you kind of go creeping through because you don't water out, and you're thinking, oh, I can pass this guy here, and you floor it through there, and you drown yourself out.
You make the wake. And there's a big problem. People don't realize, you know, you shove that water back up through and across into the air box and even through the radiators, you know, causes a problem, creates a problem. And, yeah, that can happen down at Gus's. But we continue to watch here, and I'm just amazed at what we're looking at right now. Still a little bit overcast. We don't have any direct sunlight out there drying things out. But I can tell you, lap after lap, this place is only getting better, Fred.
Yeah, you know, this dirt's like we talked about a little bit earlier. It's a little bit slipperier, and it's not as tacky as like being at Millfield, where Millfield, that mud's kind of real sticky and tacky.
Yep.
These guys are not going to have that buildup on their bikes today, so the bikes are going to stay light, and they're not going to have to worry about all that extra weight lugging them around, getting on their boots, or even getting on your visor. You know, you get mud on your visor, and it pulls your helmet down, but we're not going to have any of that today. As you can see, the conditions are just about perfect.
Waiting to get a look at some timing and scoring, see exactly what some of these gaps are. And was trying to identify some of our XC2 riders as they were working their way through there. Unable to get a bead on a couple of them.
And you can see, you know, with the extra parking this year, we've never had people parking down in this area where this track is. That just shows you how many people have come out today.
Yeah, it looks like we're about 21 minutes in, Fred, and you mentioned that parking. Yeah, parking was something there last night. Even this morning, guys getting towed in and out down there, guys. Not supposed to be going over this hill down toward Pro Row this morning, and seen a couple jackknife campers down there and run into a couple issues, that's for sure. But there we are back down at the hall right now. Going to get the fans into play here in just a moment, I'm sure. Going to get some of these other classes coming through. Going to get some of these age classes. Going to get some of these B classes and stuff coming through. And I can almost guarantee you that we're going to see some drama here as we get some of these larger classes happening.
Yeah, and for those of you who aren't familiar where Powerline Park is at, it's located near Wheeling, West Virginia. You know, and this property used to be an old strip mine property, which a lot of this is going on right now. There's a lot of natural gas and a lot of gas wells coming in this area, so this is not unusual to find this big piece of property like this. It's got big giant fields and big patches of woods, and then we run across another field into another patch of woods, so it's really great racing for GNCCs.
Yeah, it's ideal because, see, just a little bit of everything like you talk. Don't have a real extreme anything, Fred. Don't have real extreme climbs. Got some really steep inclines, but they're short. Don't have the extreme rock garden. It's got a rock garden, but it's not a 100% rock garden. It don't have, you know, extreme water crossings. Yes, do have Gus's Hole and the water crossing, but it just offers the right mix of just about everything here.
Yeah, and there's another little tricky section we haven't talked about either. It's Dead Deer Hollow.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a creek that comes downhill, or this year we could be coming up. I'm not sure which way the track's going, but there's always water flowing through there. There's giant slippery rocks, there's logs and stuff. And then when you get down to the end, you got to make a right-hand turn. You got to climb up a hill that's already got water from everybody just dragging it up. So there's so many exciting places here to go watch.
Another one of those places always had good luck. You know, it was just the luck of the draw. Was somebody in the line there? Was somebody in the way there? Was it wet too far to the left, to the right, whatever, but make a good choice and you were on your way, make a bad choice and you were back in the creek.
Yeah, you can see some of our XC1 Pro riders. You know, this year they're allowed to walk down the power line to the creek jump to see how it is. That way, you know, they can know what to expect that first lap. They don't go into it blind, because we want everybody to be safe, and that gives them a good idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I tell you, excited to see what's happening up front here right now. You know, we're talking about a lot of the action up front, but there's a lot of action happening in our college boy classes, I believe, between Hunter Hart and Devin Feehan. And these guys, not only are they really, really tough competitors on the track, these guys back and forth all the time in win positions and overall positions, that type of thing. But I can tell you, great friends off the track as well. And it's one of these points. It's another race that's happening. You know, a lot of times you get lost in the shuffle of what's happening up front, or the race in second or third place. But one of the greatest races on the track a lot of times between these young men.
Yeah, and I know we do a lot of talking about that megawatt. We talk about Devin and Hunter quite a bit whenever we get, especially toward the end of the race, we start talking about how some of the non-XC1 and XC2 riders, what we call our top amateur rider, are starting, how things are starting to pan out. And it seems like almost every time Hunter Hart and Devin seem to be two of the, if they're not battling it out for the top overall, they're one of the top three, and they're in there in the hunt for it. And sometimes they end up coming and sneaking in whenever you least expect it to. Those guys are pretty amazing. They really push each other to new levels for sure.
Oh, you're 100% right about that. And I tell you, both excitable kids when you get them on the podium, man. No lack of information or enthusiasm from either one of those guys.
You know, how much fun is it to race with your best friend out there, your friend? Did you know, and that you don't have to worry about anything dirty going to happen. You're out there wheel to wheel. You're having fun. I mean, that's the way racing should be.
And that's why we always did it. That's why we always rode the bikes, because that was fun. But you know what? Here they
That's
are.
how you and Rodney Smith were best friends, right?
That's funny. I was just thinking about that. I saw Rodney here. And, you know, Rodney and I may have rubbed elbows, but I never had to worry about Rodney doing anything wrong. I mean, we raced each other hard, and a few times we could have done it, but you know, it's not worth it. You're friends, and it's not. You don't want to hurt anybody out there, and you just having that trust in there is a lot of fun. And I beat Rodney a lot, and he beat me a lot, and we had fun, and we're still friends to this day. So we'll be friends for a while.
That's always good, the camaraderie that you get out of racing. I mean, you guys can be mortal enemies, but the one thing that you have off the track is that time that you spent together, and I'm sure that you guys can really get some really good bench racing going on. There's McGill still leading, Borich in second, and that looks like old Walker Fowler back there in the number 3 spot doing exactly what he needs to do right now as we check in with our leaders out here on the racetrack right now. Fred, there's, man, these guys, you know, we were expecting these guys to be close like this last week in Masontown because of the rocky conditions, but, you know, again, this morning we kind of thought, hey, it might be the same thing scenario leading into this one because of the conditions today, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing shape up right here.
You know, Rodney, we talked a little earlier about how the track was going to be nice and dry, and we're going to see a little bit of dust. Well, there's not going to be any dust in this part of the track. These guys are going through some water holes that are made from the years going by, and there's big puddles going through there. So this part's always going to be slippery, but, you know, you're right, Rodney. These guys, I don't know if it's because everybody likes this place, but there's a lot of good guys up front, and there's not a runaway guy in the lead right now putting time on everybody, you know. Adam McGill's out there in the front. He's got a little bit of a lead, but he's not stretching it. All these guys are chasing after him, so we're going to have a really good race going on here.
Right on. Approaching nearly about 28 minutes now into this race as we take a look at this. Still on lap number 1. First lap seeming a little long, but that could translate into really, really exciting racing with those kind of laps. And these guys, you know, it's another thing. It plays a lot of mind games with you. And, you know, we've seen last week and the week before that, the couple weeks before that at Unadilla, lap times are really short. There's Caleb Russell, your 3-time defending bike champion, and looking to be there for a 4th championship, quite possibly tomorrow if he finishes 11th or better, from what I understand. And Caleb, as well as many others, we've talked about it, we are allowing those guys to go down and spectate only today at the mud hole. They got one little way that they can go. Oh, yeah. We got mud divers and everything out there. But we're allowing those pro riders to actually make their way down the power line, go spectate at the mud hole, but that's the only place they're allowed to go, and then they can come back.
Yeah, I just think I saw Stu Baylor give him some money to do that. Stu Baylor had his camera out. He gave the guy some kind of money to do that. So Stu's really riding good and making some money, so he must be just sharing the wealth.
There you go. He's the Robin Hood of GNCC. So here we are. I'm not sure exactly what mile marker we're at right here, to be honest with you. That's one thing that we need to get updated on here. But if you notice, Fred, here at Powerline Park, traditionally when we come here, if the trees have leaves on them, they're usually yellow and orange and red and everything else. And this is the 9.5 mile marker from what I'm gathering right now. So the foliage is a lot thicker this year than what it has been in years past. And I got to wonder, does that make things a little tighter out there, you would think? I mean, with a lot more greenery out there, it might you might not be able to see as many lines open up.
Yeah, Rodney, you're right. You know, you can't look through the trees anymore because all the undergrowth is still growing, so you can't pick out the little lines because nobody wants to dart through a big old pile of briars when you don't know what's underneath. There could be a log or a stump there, so that's definitely affecting it because, you know, with this weather, we really haven't had a real cold snap to kill that undergrowth and take care of all that to make it, you know, this foliage start to get away from us. And I know you were talking a little earlier about it, but with the longer tracks is actually better for a rider. You know, the spectators may not like it as much because you won't see them, you know, you'll see them less, but for a rider, to go out there and ride a bigger loop is a lot more fun because you don't have to do that same track over and over again.
Right.
You think, okay, a couple more laps, this will be done, and it's just a longer stretch. And me personally, that's the way I like it. I like the longer laps rather than the shorter ones. And you can see right now our leaders are coming through the bottom of the field here down by the starting line.
Yep, they've checked in at the finish line. Adam McGill leading Chris Borich by about 2.2 seconds. Walker Fowler in the number 3 spot. He's another second back. Bryson Neal 9 seconds back and forth. Brian Wolf, he gets off into another hot start. He did this last week at Masontown, but he's kind of like a shooting star there last week. He shot out and burned out pretty quick. He's in 5th right now. Jared McClure running in the number 6 spot. Cole Richardson, the 733, is 7th. 8th place is the number 12 of Kevin Yoho. Landon Wolf is in the 9th place position right now. And as you look at these times, the gaps aren't really that far back. We do have a 10-second or a little over 9 seconds back to Bryson Hill between 3rd and 4th. Another 6 seconds back to 5th. And then 21 seconds would be the biggest gap there that we're seeing between, it looks like, Jerry McClure and Brian Wolf. Now, I don't know what happened there, but something must have held Sneaky Snake up there.
Well, you know, Jerry McClure, he's one of the guys that would jump the mud hole, Rodney, actually hit a soft spot and flipped over the handlebars, so that's where he lost all his time.
Okay, so that explains
and then
why.
Cole Richardson ran into the spectator, so that's why both those guys are a little bit further back.
I see, and Cole's just a second and a half behind McClure in 7th. Kevin Yoho back to the front row. We've seen him out on the track this year, but I think he's been in XC2 once or twice. He's also ran some Sportsman A and B in the morning time, but this week Kevin Yoho comes out. He's 8th place. Landon Wolf, LW11 there in 9th place with Josh Merritt, another Ohio boy right there, the number 14 rounding out the top 10 to kick things off here. XC2 Pro-Am riders starting to check in. They're now rounding out the top 10. We got Marty Christopherson and Greg Covert. Wesley Wolf, listen to this. Marty Christopherson has a 1.4 second lead over Greg Covert. Covert 4.8 seconds over Wesley Wolf. Those are the top 3 XC2 Pro-Am riders. And, talking with Wesley Wolf this morning, he gave indications that there's a possibility he might be stepping up to XC1 next year. There's a possibility it looks like Greg Covert may be stepping up to XC1, and I think that Marty Christopherson will as well. He said with those two going, his main competition's going, so he's thinking about going ahead and making that step. He'll be 18 next year. He's just 17 right now, so he'll be 18, making the grade for the XC1 Pro class. Still up in the air, not real sure what he's going to do now. On the other side of his racing career, he's an ATV motocross star as well. He got 3rd in the Pro-Am class this year. He will be running Pro-Am and AMA Pro ATV next year. So he may be doing Pro in both classes next year. He hasn't totally committed to Pro yet in GNCC.
Well, Rodney, as you can see, we got an XC2 freight train going right there. Those 3 guys are, nose to tail and just pulling each other along. And they're getting by the XC1 guys, passing them, and they're still staying 1, 2, 3. That's pretty impressive.
That is, and especially under these conditions and this type of track that we're looking at right now, as we're looking at the famed Powerline mud hole. Look at the people down there. Now, I'd hate to begin to count how many folks are down there right now, but I'd say we're looking in the neighborhood of thousands. At least we're just seeing a small portion of those leading up to that mud hole, not what's on the other side and what's all around right there, but we see that right there. Okay, they're going back a different.
Now we're waiting for the leaders to come down right now.
Yeah,
Adam McGill will be coming down this hill. Here he comes. Here comes Adam McGill.
See if he goes for the gusto here once more as the crowd is cheering him on. See what he has to attempt. He actually lets up a little bit that time, and it works out a lot better for him. And replay I was checking out. Look at Chris Borch, man. He is on fire today, and that's about the most aggressive I've seen Chris Borch riding in quite some time, if truth be told. There's Walker Fowler back in the number 3 spot. We got fans up in the trees watching this race from a bird's eye view, if you will. And, man, I tell you, they're really starting to pack in down there at the power line itself in that mud hole. This right here is not turning out, Fred, nearly as bad as what I thought. I know a lot of folks are really concerned about what that landing was going to be like, and what we saw there on that first lap certainly gave us a little bit of a situation, but now we're seeing that it is very traversable. It's just a matter of hitting that right. Now, if you try to go too much, you might, just like that right there, too fast might take a little bit too much out of you.
Yeah, Ronnie, you can see by the screen right there, there's actually a little bit of hard spot where those guys are landing a little bit short, and if you land far like Cole Richardson did right there in that mud, you're actually, it throws you up on the handlebars. So it's just a little bit of throttle control to land on that hard spot, and then these guys accelerate off that, and they're doing good. But it's definitely a lot better than what I thought it would be right there.
Yeah, you got to find that happy medium down there. I think you're right. That's that hard spot. You got that water, and you got that hard spot, and then you got that soft spot. And if you can just find it right there in that one spot, you should be all right. And we see what happened.
Rodney, from the leaders going through there, Adam McGill and Chris Borch actually put a little bit of time on Walker Fowler since they came through the scoring end of that, because he was right on them.
Yeah, he was only
one close.
Yeah, he was only 1.1 seconds back. Chris Borch and McGill were about 2 seconds apart. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Looks like that they are starting to open that up. Only a couple of seconds, but whenever you put a couple of seconds on Walker Fowler, man, that's saying something, especially with the momentum that rider's racing with right now.
Yeah, and especially in Ohio. In Ohio, if you're an Ohio racer, you're expected to win in Ohio. So Walker Fowler's got a little bit extra pressure of being, it's not his home race, but his home state race. So.
Well, here's the way he said it. He said this morning, "This is my house. Welcome to my house." That's what Walker Fowler said during pre-race interviews today. Very rarely do you hear Walker make a statement like that, but he goes, "I was looking at the history of this event. Chris Borch has 6 wins here, and that is the most wins of any ATV racer." And he said, "I think and feel that the most wins at an Ohio race should belong to an Ohio rider." So he says, I'm going for number 4 today. And right now he's in good position, though he is losing a little bit of ground. Still in good position to take that win. But most importantly, what Walker is racing for is that national championship. Right now, is this Brian Wolf we're watching come down through here now? I think it very well could be. Not sure if that's who it was for sure, but last check we had Adam McGill, Chris Borch, Walker Fowler. About a gap of 10 seconds or so back to Bryson Neal, and then another 6 or so seconds back to Brian Wolf. So that may not have been Wolf unless he's really let things open up there. But folks, we see right now we got McGill, Borge, and Fowler out front. Who do you think is going to be the overall podium finishers today? You can tweet your podium finish predictions to hashtag GNCC Live for a chance to win $250 in AMSOIL product. We'll be choosing the winner randomly at the end of the show. You don't have to be right. Don't even have to have the right name in there at all. But all you got to do is hashtag GNCC Live to be a part of the contest here today.
You know, Ron, I'm amazed every year it grows and grows and grows with people down there at the mud hole. They just keep on coming and coming and coming. And what you can't see is the people behind the mud hole up in the trees, because you can actually sit on the hillside right there and look down at an angle and be in the shade of the trees and still see all this action going on here. And you know, I look to see everybody going for the jump here. Maybe some of the back markers, when you're coming up to it, they don't want to commit to a guy that's in front of them, and they may turn off to the left, but you know, the front runners will definitely be jumping this all day long.
But talking about the younger riders earlier, just want to let folks know that right now Devin Fehan, College A class leader, 6th place overall, believe it or not. Wow, that is pretty impressive. I tell you what, Devin, just a young school lad himself. And speaking of school, we actually had another opportunity to head out yesterday. Megawatt Matt Watson, Chelsea Taylor, and the crew went out to go to East Elementary, Harrison East Elementary, sorry about that, and that's right here in the county where we're located, and they were able to talk to a lot of the folks. Kevin Yoho actually showed up at the elementary school. I mean, they had a lot of good times out there and spreading the good word about positive thinking, positive energy, and most importantly, being positive toward each other. We see Cody Collier and Kevin Yoho making a visit there, and actually Kevin Yoho's mom is works there at that particular elementary school, and Cody Collier, an Ohio rider, you know, is a great inspiration, I think, to anybody if you follow his career and his path in life, man. I mean, he really sets a high standard. He's a great example to take out to these great events, and that's what we try to do. Take the positive information, positive energy, everything positive about it out to these places, Fred. And I tell you, man, I really hope and think that it helps a lot of kids out there. Just be able to meet these top athletes and know that they're just people too. And they come from places just like where they come from.
Yeah, you can see, Rodney, everybody walking out there has got a smile on their face and having a good time. And it's just a great thing going to all these different schools because the kids eat it up so much. You know, they love seeing the guys bringing their quads in, and then when you talk about, you know, the anti-bullying thing and about being friends and not picking on people and showing them that, you know, hey, if you got an ATV, you can come out here on the weekend to a GNCC and have fun and ride too.
Exactly right, and it's as important. You can come out here and be a part of it. That's the team aspect of it. If you know somebody that's riding, you can still come out and participate in it and be a part of the team effort that goes into the GNCC racing. And I know it's an individual sport out there on the trail, but man, you gotta have somebody who knows how to have the goggles ready for you, the gas tanks and feels ready for you, and anything else that might pop up during the course of a race. You got to have somebody there that's prepared for it, and that's all about working together and teamwork and all that kind of stuff. Another thing that we display there at the school visits.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're Adam McGill in the XC1 class or if you're in the four-wheel drive class. Everybody has got, like you said, a team with them. So there's somebody there to gas them, there's somebody there to give them gloves, somebody there to give them goggles, somebody there to help them out, and that's part of what they're teaching at the school is that, you know, if you work together, things go a lot better.
How about this? 6th place overall right now for College A rider Devin Fehan. He rides aboard the number 33. So if you see the number 33 out there anywhere, you know that we got he is certainly making some waves out there and making some fast times up out there. And speaking of waves and times, I'm going to check in out on the race course right now looking for one of our track spotters out there. I know Bill Allen's out and about quite a bit, but several different places. Anybody got an eye on the leaders right now? I know at one point, Bolton, it looked like that, the Adam McGill and Chris Borch at the Powerline mud hole there, it looked like that they were actually starting to stretch out just a little bit, only a few seconds over Walker. Is he back up on their rear wheels?
They got the Gus's mud hole this time. He was within just a second of him, so he's closed it back up. Could be interesting coming down to the end.
All righty. About what mile marker are we looking at for Gus's mud hole right now?
The 3-mile mark, so I'd say that's been just a minute now. They're probably coming around past the 4 right now.
10-4, copy that. That Bolton giving us the update down there from Gus's mud hole, and it seems like things have tightened right back up, Fred. We were looking at that gap opening up there, but, man, those top 3 really starting to tighten it back up there.
Yeah, we expected that. Walker Fowler, this is, like he said, this is his house. He wants to put another win in the book, but I think the important thing here is that we're going to have a great 3-way battle going on here. Something we haven't seen in a while. Walker at the last race kind of broke away and got out, made his pace so fast, and those guys were struggling that they couldn't catch him. Well, this time it's just the opposite. Now Walker's behind them, and these guys have got the pace going, so Walker's riding with them. Is he just following them? I don't think so. I think these guys, Walker wants to win, so if he can pass those guys, he's going to try to do that.
Oh, I think he will, most certainly. I'm sitting here looking at some of these lap times. Our top 5 right now, McGill, Borch, Fowler, Neal, and Wolf, that's Brian Wolf, they all turned 29, anywhere from a 29.39 for McGill, a 29.41 for Borch, 42 there for Walker Fowler. We saw a 29.51 by Bryson Neal and a 29.58 for Brian Wolf. Those are the only riders we have under the 30-minute mark right now. Then Devin Feehan, the College A class leader, is a 30.18. He's about 20 seconds out of time adjustment right now behind Brian Wolf, and I have to wonder and begin to think, man, if he's got this kind of momentum going on and he's working his way through the pack right now, if he latches on to some of those guys up there in that XC2 Pro-Am class or something, there's a good chance that he might be able to find himself into a top 5 if things work out pretty in his favor.
Yeah, Rodney, for sure. Right now, like you said, he had to come through and pass a whole bunch of guys, and for him to put in that fast of a lap time and get that far up in the overall is impressive. Really impressive. Well, now he's with the faster guys, so like you said, if he can get in behind them and get going with them, they'll help pull him even forward, even further.
And the thing about it is, I mean, we've seen it happen and see it happen quite often in the early part of the race. It's not the, I guess, big surprise that we see these guys doing so well in the early portions. It's this, if they can hang in that neighborhood or that neck of the woods or even progress up in the ranks, that's where it starts to get impressive. We will see, though, as these races wear on, they do get a little tougher. For some reason, we start to see things spread out, but I'm not sure that we're going to see that today. Devin Feehan really seems to be on rails right now, and I know that he and Hunter Hart, we were talking about it a few minutes ago, how they're great buddies and everything. I don't see Hunter Hart right now. I'm looking down through the top standings here. The A.J. Kuntz is 19th overall. He's a vet A-class rider. And then we got behind him is, I guess, Jeff Pickens, Big Papa P, who got the early lead in this one. And that's Jeff Miller there that we're talking about. And then, of course, Dustin Hendershot would be your third place rider. What's really neat about all this thing is, we talk about GNCC and it being a family sport and this and that, and I think that the neat thing about all that is these guys all getting in their close 30 years of age, and some of them are already starting to establish families and stuff like that. I know Pickens, who is married to Tracy Pickens, the 9-time women's GNCC champion. They've got a little boy, and their family They bring a whole new family atmosphere to it. Dustin Hendershot, he's got a little boy like 3 or 4 years old that just thoroughly enjoys ATV racing. He likes to watch the ride on online with Luke Mahey from Rip It Up Films. He loves that ATV motocross stuff, and I just think that's neat. And then, of course, both those guys, Dustin's been around for many, many years. Jeff's a former XC1 Pro rider. AJ's a former XC2 Pro-Am rider. And getting to see these guys in their limelight here later in their career and still being competitive like this, it's making for a whole new life for them. It also makes for a whole new life from us from a fan standpoint, because we got more to watch out there now, more competitive classes to watch, and riders that are going to take it to the limits out there.
Yeah, too, Rodney. And once you get into GNCC racing and doing this, it's such a family event, sport anyways, that when you do have kids, you bring them along with you. I know when I did the GNCC and the motorcycle part of it, you know, I started racing and then I had kids, and it's nothing like taking your kid up with you on the podium, you know, and getting some pictures, so later on in life you can show them, you know, you were up on the podium, and it's just a great family atmosphere all the time. And also, once you get into this, you want to keep on doing it. I mean, whether you have kids or not, you just want to keep coming out here and riding and having fun, and that's what it's all about. That's why everybody started racing, or whether you're you know, whatever class you're in, you're doing it because you like to ride a quad and it's fun, and this is what you want to do.
Adam Gale continues to lead at last check now, as we are now less than 12 minutes away or thereabouts, and seeing our leaders check in for lap number 2 complete. McGill is leading as we pick up on him in our camera shot here. This is getting, well, obviously about a third of the way through. I'm thinking they're somewhere around the 7-mile marker, if I'm not mistaken, out there. And I tell you, this is a far cry different than what it could have been, Fred. It was dry up here. You know, you live up here. I'm from Ohio, a little south of here. I know how dry it's been down there as well. This could have been one of the driest races on record had it not been for the rain coming in on Thursday and Friday, man. What a blessing, and what a far cry difference that we're seeing this week as compared to last week at Masontown.
Yeah, you know, these guys are all running. There's top 4 all together, and luckily Mother Nature did give us some moisture, and this dust is not going to be a problem. You know, when it's dusty, you can't really race as close. But right now, I wouldn't even call these fields muddy. I'd call it absolutely perfect conditions.
Yeah.
And, you know, last week we talked a little bit with Adam McGill. He switched things up a little bit. He's got a new trainer. And also Chris Sports has a new trainer, too. So, you know, it just doesn't happen overnight. When you start to work with the trainer, it takes a little bit of while to get into that rhythm, to get your body to get in better shape. So, you know, it looks like that's starting to pay off for these guys.
Yeah, I know Chris Borch last week got the whole shot, had a pretty nasty crash. It didn't produce the results that a lot of folks were expecting and what he was hoping to be able to produce there last week. But I think we might see something different out of him. There's the Coltrane right there as he's rolling through on the 733 machine right now. I think that's got him up to probably now quite close to a 5th or 6th place position, as we are watching him work his way through this field section on the Infab Amp Pro Yamaha. Looking back over his shoulder, I'm sure he's trying to figure out who that is coming up behind him.
And that's the nice thing about these big grass fields like this. You can just, you've got time to look over. You can see 20, 30 seconds behind you. And Cole Richardson, you know, last weekend he made a statement. He's been going up, he's been going down. When he's sick, he doesn't do as well. And, you know, going into last week, he said he felt better, and boom, there he was on the podium.
Exactly. I mean, he has had an up and down season. We talked about the C. diff he contracted early in the year. They figured out what that was, thinking it was actually Crohn's. He has Crohn's, but they were thinking it was that was giving him the problems. Things started getting on track for him, and then all of a sudden they had a little flare-up again. The C. diff came back. It's just basically a bacteria that forms and grows in your stomach and on the lining and so forth. So they got the proper medications after Unadilla got on that like Monday or Tuesday afterwards. And obviously they got a hold of it quick enough because he was running strong last week, and they weren't sure whether or not he was even going to be able to finish the race, let alone finish as strong as he did on the podium. And, you know, he said another thing he said today in the BP Fuels Pro Row pre-race report down there, the CST Tires pre-race report. He said, you know, traditionally I get a good start and finish poor. At least that's the way things have been going for him so far this season. He said last week, though, he did a 180. He got a poor start and was actually able to move into a podium position. So he says it's totally different than what he's used to doing. He'll take it, but he don't know what was so much different and what was going on there.
Oh, here we go, Rodney. We got some guys down here at the mud hole. They all got their belt or their toe strap out here, and they're going to help this guy get through the mud. And that's what these guys are down there for, you know? That's what...
Is that... Oh.
That's what they're down there for. They're down there to help you get out if you get stuck. And
They brought their own tow ropes. That's pretty good that the fans have come that well prepared here this year. There's no doubt.
Definitely wasn't their first time here.
They said this linking arms and stuff is getting for the birds, man. Let's take a rope down there and get those boys out the right way. Checking in with some of our other riders. I thought there for a moment that looked like a Suzuki, quite possibly. Is that Cody Collier? I believe that is Cody Collier, the 201 machine. If I'm not mistaken, he is a top 5 XC2 Pro-Am rider. We're going to check and see where he checked in at last. He was actually 5th place. He was running 11 seconds behind Randy Hamilton, number 16 there. Hamilton was 36 seconds off the battle, an intense battle between Christopherson, Cover, and Wolf, and it looks like he's gotten around Hamilton now, so he's made up that 10 seconds or so that was necessary for him to do that, but he's still got about 30-40 seconds that he's got to look at between himself and the top 3. But I can tell you right now, Cody Collier, being in Ohio, you know as well as I do, he is a formidable opponent here toward the end of the year. Things aren't going the way that he wanted them to go, expected them to go. He wanted to win that championship this year. His plan was to he wanted to move up last year, but those behind him said, we want you to stick around, win the XC2 title, and then step up. Well, that didn't happen. And now he's just riding for pride at this particular point. And I got to wonder if that's not going to just make him go ahead and decide to make the step up next season. We'll find out, I'm sure. Obviously, we'll talk to him after this. But Cody Collier, man on a mission here in the latter part of the season. Don't be surprised to see that rider actually make an overall top 3 in the XC2 Pro-Am class. He's going to have his work cut out for him, though, because Wesley Wolf, Greg Covert, Marty Christopherson are all going to be tough to knock out of those spots right there. And as we look at the overall, it is still Adam McGill leading Chris Borch, Walker Fowler in 3rd, Bryson Hill 4th, and last check, it was Brian Wolf rounding out the top 5, and GNCC continues after this.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Phone coolant can give you bad stuff like this and this. You need the right stuff. Evans Waterless Engine Coolant. It's waterless for a reason. Smart guys make it and smart people use it. Don't take any chances. Get the right stuff. Go to evanschooling.com for more.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
At Rocky Mountain ATVMC, we want to help increase rider participation at your next race, rally, or club event with our free Race Gas program. Join Race Gas, and every rider that signs up for your event or club gets a free $10 gift card to Rocky Mountain ATVMC. It's that simple. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live for the Polaris Ace Powerline Park GNCC. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews and, of course, Megawatt Matt Watson out and about, as well as we find our way down to the big infamous Powerline mud hole where hundreds, if not thousands or more, 1,000 or more spectators have made their way down. Again, we're only looking at a small portion of the race fans that are down here with us right now, Fred. And again, one of the most, I guess this is one of those places on the racetrack it can make you or break you, brother.
Yeah, for sure, Rod. You know, you can have a big lead right here, and you can lose it all by picking the wrong line in the jump. But I think the leaders kind of got it figured out right now, where to land that little hard spot and go. Or, you know, like I said, we saw a couple guys go to the left, Rodney, and go around. But if you go all the way around, it's a long, long way, but it's definitely the safest. So if you don't want to get stuck, you want to be safe, you can go that way. Or you can do the jump, or you can go to the right and plunge into that mud, and that guy with that toe strap can get hold of you and pull you right out, and you can give him the thumbs up, and you can keep on going.
Yes, sir. And, you know, this it was hard to know what was going to happen, and I got to say that the ATV racers, I think, have it a little easier through this section. I know that they have a lower ground clearance, so to speak. They don't have as much travel there with the wheels only being 8 or 10 inches or so off the ground, you know, before they hit the skid plates and stuff. But the one thing that they do have is if they can bounce there and they can go, they can just keep on going. Where the bikes, they dig those ruts and they keep getting dig deeper and deeper and deeper. Even on the hard spot, it does that to them. And then all of a sudden, you know, you got places to stick up. There's McGill still out front. There's Ford still in second. Fowler and Bryson Neal is right there. And this is a good day for Bryson Neal. You got to think about this. He's been running some strong top fives and stuff, and he's even gotten on the podium a few times this year, but what he's been lacking as of recently is what we're seeing right now, is keeping those leaders in check. And if he can do that, he could be a major factor for the podium whenever the checkers finally come out in this one.
Yeah, Rodney's definitely doing what he needs to do right now. He's with the lead pack. You don't need to lead till the last lap. You can just follow right where he's at, and it's so much easier to be in that position and follow. You're not using as much energy. You can see what's going on. You can take your time a little more, and you're just in a little more relaxed atmosphere when you're following some people. And also something I noticed too, Rodney, was 3 of the top 5 guys in the XC1 class or in the overall are Ohio guys.
Pretty impressive, huh?
Mm-hmm. So that says something. You know, when you're a home state, you just get that little bit of extra energy. And you know, Adam McGill's out front right now, and they're all doing what they need to do. They're kind of just going fast, and they're just waiting for something to happen. You know, I don't know that it's playing out that way, but it just seems like they're all content with what they're doing right now. Adam McGill's got a good pace going. Chris Borch is happy with that pace, and Walker Fowler, you can see he's kind of looked like he was kind of going a little bit different directions behind.
And normally Walker is setting the pace, and he got the whole shot today. I mean, if you look at the last couple of races, he goes in the checkout mode, and that's a totally different scenario that we're seeing shape up. It's a whole different game plan that these guys got going into this race. That's pretty interesting to me. Something else interesting to me, I'm looking down through the charts right now, the leaderboard, and as I look at the college age 16 to 21-year-old class, we see Devin Fehan is leading. Again, he's out of Windsor, New York. Newfield, New York's Hunter Hart. The 3:18 is second, and normally it's within microseconds, and you know, you're splitting hairs normally between these guys. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So obviously it looks like maybe Hunter might have found some mud out there or got crossed up in one of those ruts or something from this morning's race. But man, that's something we normally don't see. But here's another thing I want to point out to you. Don't be fooled by the fact that he's got a 2 minute and 22 second gap, because that could be in half next time, and maybe even more. As McGill makes his way through the finish line region down here, we'll check in with 2 laps complete as we are nearing the 1 hour mark now. Adam McGill, 29 minutes, 39 seconds on lap number 1. And as he makes his way here to the finish line region on lap number 2, we're waiting for things to update there, and we'll get that for you here in just a few moments. But I'm going to think that maybe that second lap might have been a little bit quicker, Fred, and that kind of makes sense.
You know what, Rodney, I just noticed too, I think this is Walker Fowler's got a lot of mud on him, so he's really staying close to Chris Borch, where it looks like Bryson Neal's a little bit cleaner. And of course, there's our leader, Adam McGill, getting the 2-lap board.
Yep,
He's all nice and clean. We've got Chris Borch in second. There's Walker Fowler in third, and Bryson Neal in 4th place. I mean, you can throw a blanket over these guys, Rodney. This race is going to start right now. These guys are going to start to pick the pace up.
This is where the race begins, and this is where you begin to make the question, will this be the breakout day for Bryson Neal? Will Ohio's Bryson Neal get his first win here in the great state of Ohio? He said he won a college A championship here, if I'm not mistaken. He's got his first win, I think, if I'm not mistaken, here at Powerline Park as a youth or amateur rider coming up through the ranks. So this could be a very special place for Bryson Neal. He's got himself in a great position, and if the Bidwell bullet can take aim, man, he might fire right into the center of the bullseye. And if he does that, he could end up in the middle of that box today, and he is in perfect position. I think probably as good a position as anybody to take the win right now.
Yep, and there goes Cole Richardson with the 2-lap board. And like you said, with the way it's going right now, you know, Bryson Neal, he's right there. He's definitely not out of it. And these guys, now it's with 2 laps left to go. You can almost throw caution to the wind if you want to get a win. You got to get to the front. So Bryson Neal's going to have to start putting a little bit more pressure on Walker if he can. And Walker's going all over, trying different lines on Chris Borch, so he may be able to sneak past him when, you know, Walker goes right to try to get around Chris. Maybe Bryson Neal could sneak the other way and get around them both.
Well, the gap right now, 3 seconds between first and second. McGill and Borch, 1.4 seconds back to Walker Fowler. Bryson Neal, 0.984. He's less than a second. And actually, Bryson Neal just popped off the fastest lap by 7 seconds than anyone in the class so far at 29 minutes, 17 seconds. Adam McGill had a 29.24. Chris Borch, 29.25, as was Walker Fowler at 29.25.3. So, man, these guys are running very close lap times, but, man, Neal got just a slight bit of an edge there. 7 seconds, when you're looking at these guys that close, that's quite a bit faster whenever these guys are that tight.
Yeah, right. And, you know, I don't, maybe because he was in the back and those guys were a little bit ahead and he's caught up to him, so his pace is definitely a little bit faster. But I can't see that Adam McGill doesn't seem like he's taking his time either. So Bryson Neal is just riding the wheels off that thing today.
No doubt. And, you know, coming into this one, I don't want to second guess anyone or even put words into people's mouths, but the last 2 weeks that I have talked with Adam McGill, he keeps mentioning life after racing. And I keep thinking that we're about ready to hear a retirement announcement come from Adam McGill. But this morning he kind of reassured me that that wasn't the case, but he is looking at things a little different as he was married earlier this summer. He's talking about kids and being down for the youth races and stuff, and talking about, well, maybe it's time for him to start a family of his own. And I thought, well, that's the good thing to do. Start a family. Don't worry about retiring just yet. You're still on top of your game right now, Adam. And I had the question. I was like, man, is he even going to go out there and try today? Well, I think this answers that question because he is currently seriously trying right now. Now, one thing to point out about Adam McGill is that he's doing everything that he needs to do right now in order to try to keep Walker Fowler from winning that national championship title number 2. What he has to have happen in his favor now is for Walker to finish outside the top 20. And if that's the case, then all of a sudden we get a scenario shaping up where this could go down to the final race. Right now, it's not looking like that. We do have Adam out front, but Walker's back there in third. And, you know, right now, you may be thinking, why isn't Walker out there busting it, trying to stretch things out? There might be a couple of different things. One of those in particular is the fact that he's on the verge of championship number 2. And we had a chance to catch up with him leading into this weekend and talk just about that.
Just try not to think about it. Just go do my thing. Obviously, the Unadilla GNCC and the Mountaineer GNCC both went really well, getting 2 wins, pretty convincing wins. So I just need to, you know, go for the 4-peat here at my home race. Usually it's so hard here, a hard-packed track, that kept telling myself it could rain as much as it wanted and it wouldn't go away, and it would have to rain steady for 3 days leading up to the race and get like 6 inches. Well, we're at about 5 inches. It's rained steady. It doesn't really get rutted up or mud holes, but I think it actually is going to happen. At least for me in the championship, I can just try to get it done. You know, we got ourselves the opportunity 6 days ago to get this thing wrapped up. Now we're back at it, and hopefully we'll just get it done and get out of the way and have a month of relaxation, not a month of fretting what we got to do to get the championship wrapped up. So this is my home race. This is my home state. And I've won it the last 3 years, and I plan on making it number 4. This would be really cool. It was really cool to win it in Indiana, and I had thought last year, I was like, man, what if we could win this thing in Ohio? Well, hey, 1 year later, here we are, and I guess hopefully tomorrow I can tell you how it feels.
Welcome to my house. That's all I can keep hearing in my back of my head is that song playing in the back of my mind right now. Is Walker Fowler is at home here in Ohio, and though he may not be up front, he is certainly looking at taking that national championship title.
Yeah, you know, Walker's doing, like I said, just what he needs to do. He's right there, 3rd place. The leaders are right within sight, so there's nothing he's doing wrong. He's just kind of waiting for a scenario to happen to see if he can get to the lead or if he's got to push the issue. And I don't think that he's not. Walker Fowler, like he said, didn't come here to get 2nd place. He came here to get win number 4, so there's no sitting on his heels just waiting to collect the championship.
Well, I tell you, looking at the sun starting to rain down between the branches of the trees right now, and we were looking at one point it was 60, and I think we raised up to nearly 90% chance of some showers coming through the area here this afternoon, Fred. And man, we got sunshine, and that don't mean, I can tell you, it's heating up. This is Ohio. When it starts warming up like this and there's clouds in the sky, that sometimes is bad news. But maybe, just maybe, positive energy will keep all that away, man.
Well, I think this is one time everybody's happy the weatherman's wrong. You know, he's the only guy that gets paid no matter what, even if he's right or wrong. He throws out that 50% and he's safe either way. But no, we're happy to see the weather like this, and the sun's only going to make the track even better and better. And these open fields, you watch Adam McGill and the rest of them come through the turns, they're just turning, the tires are sticking and they're going. They're not sliding them around like on hard ground. The dirt is just perfect out there.
It is, and it's tacking up beautifully right now as we take a look at that particular I mean, even right here, the mud section, as muddy as it is, isn't that bad. Now, that guy, he's pretty bad off muddy. But, man, these guys out here, he just belly flopped off the jump, and he's having a tough time walking around right now. Yeah, man. Oh, we got to fight.
We got some kid wrestling going on. But, you know, these people, when there's no bikes around, there's somebody out there to entertain the whole crowd.
There is. Yeah, character, a nation of character. That's GNCC. I wrote about that in Quickfill one time, and I only scratched the surface on the characters that we have in GNCC. And honestly, man, if you folks want to keep up with GNCC, that's one of the best ways to do that. Quickfill is a weekly article. It has a bunch of contributions. I contribute to it. Chelsea Taylor, our media director, and also the producer here, she contributes. She is a bad chick, so there's no doubt about it. She can write. She knows all about it. She's got all the great information. Also, Jared Bolton, as we know him, one of the junior trail bosses, he writes for it, and I believe Kayla Oliver does as well. So, I mean, we got a lot of contributors into the Quickfill. Comes out every Thursday. If you want to keep up with what's up to date and what's going on, a quick bit of information through Quickfill on GNCCRacing.com.
You know, Rod, and I'm watching these guys do this jump right here, and this one guy, he's just covered head to toe with mud. He's drinking something, and he doesn't even care. The mud's just flying on him. He's just having a good old time.
Good old times. That's what it's all about. There's no doubt about that. Hey, you know, while we got a moment here, I'd like to remind and invite everyone out to the Ty Keston Memorial Golf Tournament. That is going to be coming up here, I believe, November 26th. Next weekend, October 8th, I'm sorry. Next weekend, I was looking at a different thing here. But Ty was the young racer, the first and hopefully only racer that ever does that, lost his life in GNCC competition earlier this year in Georgia. And they're going to be doing a legacy golf tournament down at, trying to find out exactly where Moon Golf Club in Moon Township, Pennsylvania. Nick Kester and some Racer X guys are going to be going down there to participate in it. And if you go to GNCCRacing.com, we've got information there that can tell you how you can sign up to be a part of the Ty Keston Memorial Golf Tournament. That's coming up next Saturday. Be a lot of great prizes. Got hole-in-one prizes, including a car and a vacation. Multiple door prizes, including a set of golf clubs, a 60-inch television, Steelers football tickets, a Yeti cooler, and much more. And make sure you make this event. The 16th hole is dedicated to Ty Keston, as that was his racing number. And Ty just making his way over from the motocross world into GNCC. What a heartbreaker, no doubt. But we will certainly memorialize him this weekend, next weekend, October 8th. So join us there. Also, speaking of joining us, don't forget banquets for the ATVs coming up on Friday night, October 25th, and Saturday night for the motorcycles on the 26th. UTVs and ATVs will be there on Friday evening, so make sure you check GNCCRacing.com if you want to be a part of that. Speaking of UTV racing action, don't forget we'll be back live shortly after the conclusion of our XC1 and XC2 battles here, and we'll be coming back for UTV racing action on RacerTV.com. And speaking of UTVs, we had a chance to catch up with some of our UTV pilots and talk about a championship. Boy, this one's going to go right down to the wire. And our own Brad Jones had a chance to catch up with these guys.
They started racing them at the GNCCs. I'm like, man, that looks like so much fun. And I bought one and got into it. And like my third race ever, I was approached by Can-Am. They offered me a factory ride, and I've been with Can-Am ever since. But it's just a rush. It's like the same thing on a dirt bike. You have that rush, but with these, you have someone in the passenger seat to share the rush with. So it's like, after the race, it's like, you've got like just a big story to tell. With these things, it's harder to keep them together than it is a bike or a quad. So, with 2 rounds left, anything can happen. It's awesome. I'm so glad that, side-by-sides came along, and, I was fortunate enough to have a shot to race them because, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are better than me or, maybe more suited for this. But, I got in it at the right time, and, I've just I clicked with it, and we've been doing really good. And, I've got a good team and a good backing and good sponsors, and, we've been doing good. And I love doing it.
Going into this race, I'm 31 points ahead of Cheney, and I've got to beat him. If I beat him at this race, then that seals the championship. So that's what I'm going out to do. I could do top 5 for the next 2 rounds and still come out winning a championship, but I'd rather DNF trying to win this race than to try and be conservative right now because I've had such a great season. I've got a lot of momentum building up to this, and so I'm definitely not going to slow down right now. I'm just going to go out there and give it all I've got to try and come out with enough points to win the championship tomorrow. My first year running the GNCCs, so everything's been new to me, but I've really felt right at home out here. All the people, all the fans, all the competition, everybody's been really welcoming. I've had a great year and a lot of fun, more fun than I've had in racing in a long time. So I'll definitely be coming back and doing it again next year. This year, my brother and I kind of went for broke. We invested everything that we could and came out and said we were going to make a full season of GNCC. And we expected to do well, but I didn't expect to come out here and be trying to win a championship one race early. So it's been a surprise for us, and we're stoked. My equipment's worked really good. My program that we put together in the off season with all the sponsors, it was really good, and we've had a solid year, and we're just happy to be here.
And Cody Miller, who's leading the UTV points, actually won the 4x4 overall class today. Former top ATV motocross racer himself, making the switch over. With age comes cage, they say in some instances, and it's working well with him, but he also does it on the 4x4 pro class line. That's becoming a rather exciting championship down there, and we say congratulations to Kevin Cunningham on winning his title. He's the second only 4x4 pro class champion. Brian Buchanan has been the champion since the inception of that class, believe it or not. That's pretty impressive on Brian Buchanan's part, but also equally for Kevin Cunningham, I think.
Yeah, Rodney, maybe because he's riding the quads in the morning, he's riding the UTVs, then ATVs in the morning, then UTVs in the afternoon. That gets loosened up in the morning.
Cody Miller. And he drives from Texas, so he spends a lot of time behind the wheel. So obviously driving is certain. Hey, thanks guys at Jarvis Racing just brought me up some killer lunch here. Look, beer butt chicken right there. Well, say thanks to the Jarvises for that. They'll be racing tomorrow in the amateur races. But yeah, man, back here to this four-wheeler racing. I think you're right. I think Cody Miller, he's just a racer at heart, man. I mean, he's one of those guys that you throw wheels on it and tires, he'll try to ride it and win on it.
He's probably racing the whole way home, all the way back to Texas.
I don't doubt that a bit, to be honest with you. Oh, man, and I tell you, back-to-back like this, these drives that he's had the last couple of weeks, that's been pretty impressive. Hey, we are right now looking into this. We're at past the halfway point. I want to take a halfway look. I'm going to take a bite of this chicken first. That's good. Oh, my gosh. It's really good. But we are at the halfway point, an hour and 14 minutes now into this race. Fred, I'm going to take a look at our midway report as we'll take a look at the top 5 in each one of these classes here. We've been talking about the XC1 Pro class and the overall quite a bit. Speaking of overall, Devin Fehan, who was 6th place, is now dropped off to the number 10 spot. Probably shouldn't have tried that bite of chicken. But he's dropped off the 10th place overall. Still very impressive. Wesley Wolf has moved into the lead of the XC2 Pro-Am class, and he has moved into 8th place overall. So that's pretty impressive. We'll take a look at that XC2 Pro-Am class. Wolf out front by 4 seconds over Marty Christopherson. Greg Covert back in the number 3 spot. Cody Collier is your 4th place rider. Here's something impressive. A 30-minute, 16-second lap time for Collier. We saw him going through that field section there a few moments ago. Now is only 10.7 seconds behind Greg Covert. Don't be surprised to see him battling for one of the top 3 overall spots in that XC2 Pro-Am class. Randy Hamilton out of Denville, New Jersey rounds out your top 5 there in the XC2 Pro-Am class. We'll look at the top 10. 6th place is Matthew Lindell. 7th place, the 223 of Bryson Hobbs. Danny Rogers, the 213 and 8th. Kenny Schick is 9th place aboard the 23, and Levi Cohen rounds out your top 10. Now as we move into some of our A classes, we'll take a look at the Junior A. Jeff Miller leading that one out of Summersville, West Virginia on the 533. 42nd lead over Ryland Johnson, the 361 out of Rector, Arkansas. Nick Mastrangelo out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, the 77 and 3rd. Josh Konachek, 936 out of Avella, PA is 4th. And Zachary Dean out of Addison, New York, 727 rounds out the top 5. In the Vet A class, A.J. Kuntz. Tom Kuntz, if you're looking at timing and scoring, A.J. Kuntz out front of this one. 22 seconds over Big Papa P. Jeff Pickens there, the number 98 out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania. 1 minute and 7 seconds back behind them is Dustin Hendershot, the 806. We were talking about Big Papa P and Dustin Hendershot being papas out there themselves. And A.J., I'm not sure if A.J.'s got kids or not. I'm not sure if he's married yet or not. But I know A.J. formerly was an XC2 Pro-Am rider here just a few years ago, and seeing him find his niche out here in this particular class is pretty cool. Bam, as we like to call him. Joey Margaria, the number 788 out of Avella, PA, is 4th in this Vet A class, and Adam Reed out of Bealsville, Ohio, the 870, rounds out the top 5. Now we look at the Senior AB class. In the Senior AB class, Rusty Repass, he got the whole shot in that one out of Mooresville, North Carolina. It doesn't look like he's looked back either. A 1 minute 20-second lead over the 716 of Arthur Blystone from Spring Church, Pennsylvania. Mark Batson, one of your media all-star riders, the 636 out of LaSalle, Michigan on the Yamaha, runs in 3rd place with that.
Rodney, I don't want to interrupt you a second, but just showing us, I'm not sure if this is Walker Fowler might be leading.
Well, all righty, we're out here in that big field section. Keep an eye on that. And we will check back in with that. Blystone, Batson, Jeff Raines, the 129 out of Barnhart, Missouri is 4th. Chris Berry out of Munfordville, Kentucky rounds out your top 5 in the Senior AB class. So we might be seeing a change in the lead out there. Fred Andrews is going to be keeping a close eye on that. Stick around as we look now at the College B class. Morgan Flannery out of Mercersburg, PA, 232 with a 1 minute and 14-second lead over Joseph Yerkson, a 328 out of Champion, PA. We also have Caleb Hagan in 3rd place. He's aboard the 403 out of Tompkinsville, Kentucky. Joey Lambert out of East Palestine, Ohio is 4th place at 225. And Chandler Berner out of Bellington, West Virginia rounds out the top 5 in your College B, 16 to 21-year-old class. Junior B class, Charles Dawson out of Lisbon, Ohio, the 330 with a 21-second lead over the 61 of Brian Felicki out of Poland here in Ohio. Out of Lisbon, 1 minute and 23 seconds back. In 3rd is the 313 of Tyler Palmer. Ryan Bovis, the 840 out of Chepachet, Rhode Island, is only 1 second back. In 4th place, Evan Timko, the 310 out of St. Clairsville, 2.9 seconds back in the number 5 spot. So we got a hometown boy doing quite well there, it looks like, today in that Junior B class, the Vet B 30-plus class. Dale Batson out of Ida, Michigan, another one of our media all-star riders out of Moorhead Motorsports Machine. 671 out front, 7.5 seconds over Corey Blinkiewicz, the 402 out of Elwood City, PA. Jason Dillard out of Charleston, West Virginia, the 119. 102 Philip Thayer out of Imperial, Missouri is 4th, and Aaron Hendershot, the 120 out of Spring Valley, Ohio, rounds out the top 5. And that is top 3 in with 2 laps, still looking at 4th and 5th to check in with their second lap. So we can see that they're still running a little bit behind as our leaders are nearing the completion of lap number 3 now, as we're about 9.5 minutes out, Fred, from what I can calculate, to a white flag.
Yeah, Ronnie, it looked like it was Walker Fowler in 1st, and then Chris Borch was in 2nd, and I'm not sure who was in 3rd place. I couldn't tell for the mud whether it was Bryson Neal or whether it was Adam McGill, but I didn't see a 4th place person come by, and the next guy I saw was Cole Richardson. So This is totally off the record. Nothing could be true,
right.
But I did not. From what it seemed like, it looked like Walker Fowler had.
Maybe we missed Adam McGill, and he's got that much of a lead. Maybe he's fallen off the pace. There's a lot of different scenarios. Let's go ahead and check in with the track crew right now. Track crew, this is RacerTV. Sorry to bump in on you guys right now, but just checking in with the leaders. Where's the leaders at? Where were they last seen? And do we have any changes up front? We're seeing some things look a little different up here on the monitors. Well, let's see if anybody's got an answer to that.
I just went by the 5, and Fowler was out in front. It was Fowler, Borich, McGill, and Neal, and they were those tail. They should be coming out towards the 7, out towards the front. Moved over to the 9 to see what's going to happen there, but they're still tight.
All right, man, thanks a lot. So we got a new leader. Keep us up to date if you don't care, Jeff Russell. As Jeff Russell giving us a radio update there and telling us what's going on the racetrack. So it is Fowler out front, but the last check that they had, it was a lot tighter. Looked a little wider gap there in this open field section, huh, Fred?
Yeah, it sure did, Rodney. It looked like, Walker was putting a little bit of time on him, but, maybe those guys made a mistake. Walker got out ahead, and as a pack, you tend to go faster as a pack than you do by yourself. So they could have got this together, and then they could have just be trying to catch back up to Walker. But it's impressive that Walker's back in the lead right now. He knows he came here to win, and he saw his opportunity where those guys had a mistake somewhere or something, but Walker made a patent Borge pounce.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. The patent. That's something we haven't had a chance to talk about. The last lap pass of Chris Borch. And hey, you never know, man.
It could still happen.
Exactly.
We haven't got the white flag yet. He's saving it.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, it's pretty neat. We were looking at that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I just want to point out the fact that Wesley Wolf, the XC2 Pro-Am leader, just checking through there. Again, we see him in 8th place overall right now. And, man, what a lead. Wow, it's only 4 seconds over that second place rider right now, Marty Christopherson. Another 16 seconds back to Greg Covert. Man, we got 2 very good battles going on right now in both the XC1 and the XC2 classes, Fred. I mean, we could not have scripted a better scenario than what we're seeing unfold right here before our eyes today.
Yeah, Rodney, last week, Walker tended to get out in front and had his own little race by himself, and we still had a great battle for second and third in the XC1 class and for the overall. Well, this week's totally different. These guys are all together, and that's what's neat about GNCC. Every race is different. It's never the same.
It most certainly is different, and they are never the same. And sometimes it seems like just when you think everything's going to be the same, it totally changes on you. And right now, I tell you, man on a mission, I think has to be the number 5 ride back there, Cole Richardson. He was nearly 53 seconds or so back. Looking at lap times right now, he's having a little bit of slower lap times, but I think now, this juncture in the race, this is about where we saw things start to pick up for him last week. And if we are in a repeating pattern scenario, Cole Richardson could be putting the hammer down and could become a little bit more of a force by the time we get toward the end of this.
Walker could...
Hang on just a second.
McGill is into second, Borich third, Neal fourth. They're all within 15 seconds.
10-4. Now, what mile marker is that?
They're headed towards the 9. I'm going to go down and try to catch them before the 10.
10-4. Thank you, Jeff Russell. Jeff Russell giving us the call. So it is still Walker out front, but we got a new second-place ride. And that is Adam McGill with Borch back in third, and it is Neal back there in fourth. So we are still nose to tail heading toward the 9. Now, we did see that little separation of these guys in this shot that we're watching here on RacerTV.com. But, man, think about it. You get in those wood sections, things slow down real fast, and you can make up those gaps really, really quick, especially when these guys come up on a lapped rider at this juncture in the race.
Yeah, Rodney, when you come up on a lap rider like that, he's only got so many spots he can pull over out of your way, so these guys could all bunch back up again, and I think that's what's happening right now. So they're coming to the white flag lap right now. Things are going to be heating up in the pit area. They're going to be giving them the pit board, telling them, this is it. Let's make things happen, and it's going to be an exciting last lap.
It is. As we look back through the pack right now, we see that Richardson was 5th, McLaurin 6th, Landon Wolf, the 11th. Is your 7th place ride right now. He's got some work cut out for him as he is riding another consistent and strong race there, about 7th place. We saw him in the top 4 there a couple, 2 rounds ago when we were in Unadilla, and saw him have some struggles last weekend, and he was hoping for a little bit different scenario. And looking at things right now, he's still got the opportunity for things to pan around for him. But 7th place, good consistent ride for the number 11 this year, Landon Wolf. Right now, continuing to watch, we are at the mud hole, and Fred, you can see the crowd is scurrying. And again, we can only see tip of the iceberg as far as the number of people there. But we got one rider that's off the side of the track there, and spectators have got his quad. I'd say they probably about got it ready to fire back up. They got it uprighted. He's uprighted. They're making sure he's okay. They're going to send him on away. As much as these fans appreciate
the spectacular crash. They want to make sure that they've got those guys okay. Walker Fowler still in the lead out here near the 9.5-mile marker.
Well, it looks like he's got a little bit of lead over Adam McGill right now, Rodney.
So,
maybe, you know, a couple, 3 seconds. And there goes Chris Borch by in 3rd place. And Bryson Neal in 5th. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th in the leader, all close together.
There you go. So
making their way towards the finish line.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like an accordion effect going on right now. Back and forth, back and forth. Tighten up, stretch out. Tighten up,
and
stretch
Walker
out.
Fowler, he's got the hard job right now because he catches the lap, guys. He's got to make all the noise. And when that guy moves over, he goes by. Well, then Adam McGill, Chris Borch, and Bryson Neal, they say, hey, thank you. You made this guy move for us. And boom, they sneak right through.
Hey, I just wonder if when Walker rolls up on these guys, if he's like, out of my house, out of my house.
Hey, Rodney.
Yeah, go ahead, Megawatt.
Man, we're standing down with Mark Notman, Chief Tech for Walker Fowler. Tell us a little bit how we got to this point in the race. The race come to us.
We stopped there beginning the 2nd lap for goggles, and we ended up taking fuel. We said there was nowhere to pass, so we gave him fuel, beginning the 2nd lap, and said we could stay on them. When Adam and Chris pitted at the beginning of 3rd, that's where we took the lead, and we're here. They were still wheel to wheel, but we just got a report over the radio. He's picked it up about 10 seconds. I think we're going to have to stop for a splash of fuel here the last lap. So,
awesome. Thanks for the update. There you go, Rodney.
Wow, interesting that all worked out for him there. And another interesting thing, Fred, I'm kind of surprised to hear him say there's no place to pass out there. But again, we got to remember we still got a lot of foil, a lot of those leaves. The fall, the colors haven't set in. The leaves haven't began to fall. This is a totally different scenario than what we're used to here at Powerline Park. So maybe that might be why it's a little tighter this year.
Yeah, Ron, there's definitely a lot more cover in the woods, so you really can't see the lines that you could from the past 2 years. But, I mean, you look at these fields. There's big fields. Yeah, everybody can go fast in them, but your corners are where you can make your passes. You can always, these corners are nice and wide. You can high-low different things. That I'm surprised that they're going to do a little splash here the last lap, but it's better to be safe than sorry, when he is here for the championship. And a 10-second lead, a little splash of gas is only 3 seconds, so they're really not going to lose a whole bunch, but it will tighten them back up. And right now, it looks like they're making their way towards the finish line right now.
Well, you can tell how on their toes that the Ampo Pro Yamaha pits are. They just got Dad out there with a water bottle, and they got Mark Notman with the quick fill jug as they're ready to start dumping some gas in that. Like you said, 3-second splash, they should have that as we are making our way into the finish line stretch. Now it looks like Adam McGill again leading the last time around, and this time around we should expect to see white flag going out according to Ricky Towery. Now as the white flag is out and Walker Fowler makes his way across the finish line for the first time in the lead since the start of today's race. He got the whole shot this morning, or this afternoon if I'm not mistaken, so he is out front as we check in now to the number 2 spot. 9.7 seconds back is Adam McGill. Looking back just another spot further, 3.8 seconds back is Chris Borch. And now behind Chris Borch, how far back? 6.2 seconds to Bryson Neal. There's Fowler. He's in. Oh, a little bit of a And does that change the face of this race? It does. Adam McGill takes over the lead, folks. If you didn't see what just happened in that little gas exchange down on Pro Row, the quick fill got caught in the tank of Walker Fowler, and that's something that you normally don't see, Fred Andrews, but you've seen how much time that may have cost, and could it cause a problem? Maybe broke something off in there, maybe some of that gas is going to splash out. A lot of different scenarios could unfold from this point on.
Yeah, Rodney, what happened there was Walker Fowler was in such a hurry to get going. He just wanted a little splash, and Mark Knott wanted to give him a little bit more gas, and then once Walker started to go forward, the IMS can wasn't allowed to come up because they kind of had it on a bind. And like you said, when you do that, the pressure thing that the IMS can pushes down, that thing could have stuck down too and could be flinging gas out on Walker, or usually it just pops back up. But, Walker was just a little bit excited. He kind of knew he had to get in and out quick. So it was a bad case of scenario. But, hey, this is the last lap. Now we're going to see, we're in Walker's house. Walker's going to show us.
That's it, man. I tell you, a lot of different scenarios could shape up there, but Walker Fowler.
And when Adam McGill went by, he went by and gave Walker the thumbs up. So he said, "This is the break I need." So Adam McGill's got the widest bike on the track right now.
Can we get back? I want to see a replay of that. We need to see a replay of the pit exchange, this whole little pit exchange that we had there just a moment ago, just to see exactly what happened. We know what happened, but just the turn of events.
Rodney, Fred hit the nail on the head. Exactly what happened was Walker just started to take off a bit quick. He got a bit antsy. Mark wanted to give him just a bit more fuel, and what happens, you put a bind on that spout out of that quick dump can, and next thing you know, just leads to a little problem. Took an extra 2 seconds. We were about 3 seconds when Walker started to leave, about 6 seconds when he made his way out of the pits.
And that was just enough for Adam McGill to get around. Now, do you think that they're concerned about any lingering problems from that? Quite possibly, Matt. I know I don't expect it, but you never know.
Well, I tell you, Mark and Walker's dad both took off flying over to the other side of the course, but I don't think there was anything stuck. I saw the nozzle come completely out.
Okay.
I did see gas splash at that time, so that tells me the gas was coming out of the can, not necessarily the tank. So I'm going to assume that the tank did close. They're running over there to follow up and make sure there's nothing hanging loose.
10-4 on that one. Thank you very much for that update, Megawatt.
Yeah, I would think Walker, that Mark Notman and Danny Fowler were running over there just to tell Walker, hey, don't worry about it. Just take your time. You got a whole lap. You've got 11.5 miles to try to make this pass. Don't be in a rush. Don't do something you shouldn't. Just you can make it happen.
Well, I think Walker, as for a young champion, is a very mature champion. There's no doubt about it. He made his way through the amateur ranks. That we're watching some of these guys out there struggling, Fred. And, you know, as much attention as we pay to the front of the pack and these riders out here, man, there's a host of other riders out there on that race course. We call them lap traffic a lot, but they're actually other classes, and they're out there racing, and they've got their struggles as much as anybody else, I think. There's some of our amateur riders making their way through. We were talking about some of those a few moments ago. Our top amateur rider right now, 10th place overall. This is still after only 2 laps of racing, as we've only got our top 6 riders in with 3 laps complete. That says a little bit about how far ahead and the pace that these front 5 guys are racing right now, because 6th place ride is about a minute, 7th place ride is about a minute plus behind the 5th place guys, and 5th place is actually a minute and 5 seconds behind 4th. So in reality, those top 4 guys have really got a sizzling pace going right now.
All right, and there goes our leaders by on the jump right there. You can see Adam McGill was in first, Walker Fowler was right on his tail, and Chris Borch was right on his tail. So we've got a 3-rider battle here for this first place finish here.
Must take splash fuel now. That's Walker Fowler's pit board, and that may be the change of the face of this race today, that one little instance, and that's something that you normally don't have. But we got to think about tensions right now. We know that, I'm sure that Walker's antsy because he's on the verge of championship number 2. I'm sure that Mark Notman's a little bit antsy being the mechanic on the verge of championship number 2. There's a lot of things to consider in that little exchange, that little quick pit stop, knowing that they were going to be the only ones stopping that time.
Yeah, Ronnie, and I think the mechanic has the most nerves and the most pressure on him. You know, me as a rider, I knew how to do my job, but the mechanic, he does his work, and then it's in your hands. He's always worried about that bike breaking and ruining your day. So, you know, Mark Notman's got a lot more pressure on him than what Walker Fowler does.
I think you're right, and as we look a little further back now, we see, as we were talking about, McGill, Fowler, Borch 1, 2, and 3. Neil's back a little bit further. Cole Richardson a minute and 5 seconds back behind Neil now. Jared McClure running only 2.3 seconds behind Richardson in 6th. Then 7th place overall after time adjustments right now, Wesley Wolf. Right behind him, it says we got about 5 seconds that separate him, 5.5 seconds, is Marty Christofferson, turning at only a second slower lap time, and another 10 seconds back is now Cody Collier into the number 3 ride of the XC2 Pro-Am class, and Cody Collier is up to 9th place overall right now. How about it for Ohio's Cody Collier, man? That that kid came in here on a mission today. I know he had a lot of missions earlier this year, but this time he came in with a plan, mission statement, and he is executing it quite nicely. Now, whether or not he's going to get up there to challenge for the win, I don't know, but I can tell you right now, if anybody's capable of doing it, it's going to be Cody Collier on the 201.
He's definitely right. You know, a hometown boy, Ohio boy, he's riding the wheels off that thing, going to show everybody here what he's made of, and he's doing a really good job today. And, you know, the track is really drying out right now, Rodney. To be sure, without some spots in the woods, with all these leaves and the foliage, the sun's not getting through, so it's staying nice and wet. But out here in the open spots, man, racing's really getting good, and tomorrow's going to be prime racing.
Well, sun's starting to peek its head out and get a lot of sunshine. You might notice some of our cameras out in the open start to get a little washed out, like this camera shot right here. Got a little ND filter change they got to do right now. But there's that left-hander and out and around that mud hole to the right side of the screen that we've been talking about. That's the long way around. Riders can take that and ensure that the likelihood of their getting stuck, maybe not, man. I'm beginning to think that maybe the long way around, the easy way around is the hard way. Look at this. These guys are getting hung up out there.
There you go. Got your tow rope out. Don't worry.
Those guys right there are a true mud flea. That's a textbook's mud flea right there. And these guys, they're smart mud fleas, man. They aren't uneducated mud fleas. They come in.
That's 6 horsepower right there.
That is, isn't it? And you know, what's really neat is Moto Tees has actually come up with an official shirt for guys just like that. It's the official Mud Flea shirt. And if you're a Mud Flea, a GNCC fan, you like to get dirty and get down there in the nitty-gritty, they got T-shirts down there for you. Stop down by Moto Tees. You folks at home, if you're a computer Mud Flea, you can pick one up too at mototees.com on the World Wide Web. Be sure and check that out.
Now that guy in the back right now, Rodney, he's got... Yep, man, he got lucky. He got lucky. That guy got behind the rear wheels. So I was just waiting for him to get all filled in.
I like the guy in the bibs down there in the straw hat. There, that's
only one side's done.
Well, of course, man. Oh, he's losing his boot. Losing his boot.
Trying to steal his boot.
Man, this is what good times are all about. GNCC Racing right here, my friends. It gets into it. And honestly, the best and easiest way is right here. Even if you do get knocked off the quad, you're still going to be in better shape than being stuck over there, I think.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, these guys aren't jumping that far to land on that hard spot, and then they can gas it and get over that other soft spot. So to jump, it's definitely the easiest way, but when you go up to it, you really can't see where you're going to land, so it makes it really scary. Right?
How do you convince that junior B guy as he comes around in 8th place to go ahead and jump it? It's easier. It's going to be kind of difficult. Well, right now we're looking at Walker Fowler. Actually, Adam McGill out front of Walker Fowler. Then Chris Borch in 3rd, Bryson Hill a little further back in 4th, and Cole Richardson rounding out the top 5. We are about 19 minutes away from a checker flag. Wow, how is this one going to end up? Is Adam McGill going to get the win today? Will Chris Borch pull the patented Borch last lap move and get the win and steal it away today for win number 74 and his first win in nearly 2 years? Stick around to find out. The Powerline Park GNCC continues after this.
As riders and racers, we understand the need to get quality parts, apparel, and accessories fast. We have the horsepower of multiple warehouses to make sure your gear, OEM parts, or accessories make it to your door quickly. Check out our easy-to-use website and experience customer service that takes the whole shot. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews, old Fast Freddy, former GNCC champ himself, Megawatt Matt Watson out and about. And here we are on the final lap of racing as we approach now about 15 minutes, a little more than that, left to go in this battle as Adam McGill has gained the lead after a miscue in the pits there with Walker Fowler up front by only 6 seconds. And man, it only took just that little bit of a moment there to take him out of the first place position where we see now we have Adam McGill. Back to the number 3 spot is still the 6th time and winningest GNCC racer of all times, Chris Borich, in the hunt right now. A part of the new program with Dominic. It's a big ATV motocross training program that he got on late in the break, about 4 weeks leading into it. And we've already seen a lot of progression out of Chris Borich and his physical attributes. And today, man, he is solid. He is strong right now with this particular battle that's going on, and he is in position. You know, we got a lot of different classes out there on the racetrack, and we talked. We were talking about that bet class, the 28-plus class. One of the other classes that we have is it's deemed the 38-plus class, more traditionally known as the 40-plus class, and most of these guys are over the age of 40. But the senior AB class, man, is one of the cool classes out there, and these guys really making, I think, some pretty cool things happen out there on the racetrack. You guys got like Rusty Reespass. He's out of Morrisville, North Carolina. He is leading this one by 1 minute and 20 seconds. Now, normally we see these guys a lot tighter than this, but again, these conditions today are allowing for things like this to happen. Mark Batson, who's back in the number 3 spot, a former ATV motocross star himself. About 5 years ago, they made the switch to GNCC, and here they are out there making it happen. So I tell you, man, there's always a life and a place for somebody to go racing. If you're not in one of the competitive front row classes, you always got one of the age classes you can jump in, and that's what we like about GNCC. It's a sport for every man, and nearly anybody can come out here on any given day, Fred Andrews, and win a GNCC race. That's how it's set up, man. Everybody starts on the same time. They all got the same opportunities to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, Ryan, there's definitely a class for everybody to go out there and have fun in.
It is.
And enjoy riding their quad like they want to do, and on a closed course with some obstacles, and you got the crowd yelling. It's nothing like hearing the crowd going, whether you're a pro guy or a senior guy.
That's it. And you know, or a youth guy. You know, we talk about the seniors and the pros and this and that, but we started out the day this morning, and as we always do with the GNCC youth classes, and of course this morning we had a great battle out of that one, and we also crowned the champion a little later on in the 10 o'clock class in that 4x4 pro class. We caught up with some action from earlier this morning.
Hello, everybody. We're here with our first winner of the day, Devin Crothers. Devin, getting the overall here this morning in some tough conditions. Man, how's it feel?
Feels pretty great. It's been a while since I've been up top.
Tell us a little bit about the race, man. How was it, the conditions out there?
I got second. I'd say I got fourth off the start. Just made my way around. Lappers pushed everybody apart. I got way back behind Peyton in one lap. And then I got around, just put my head down and charged.
Looked to be really consistent today in your lap times. You made your way up through to about lap number 4, I believe, is when you took the lead. And then 4, 5, and 6, man, it was all your race.
Oh, yeah, I just put my head down, charged, and thinking about that win.
Hey, who you want to say thanks to today?
I want to say thanks to DMS and Grafton, Auto Junction. If you're looking at a good place to buy a car, go there. Max's, Riccatelli Lumber, Blaine Jennings, Mom, Dad, Sister, Gabbard Excavating, Tim Crothers Logging. Most importantly, my mechanic, Ronnie Paul Wilson. He put this bike together, made it run great.
There you have it. This morning's overall winner, Devin Crothers.
Well, congratulations to Devin on his win out of West Virginia. One fact to point out is all top three overall youth riders this morning were from the state of West Virginia, from which we're only about 10 miles from right now if you look at it, and maybe a little closer as the crow flies, just outside of Wheeling, West Virginia in St. Clairsville, Ohio, here on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon. October 1st, man. I mean, rolling into the fall. Again, this is our first time that I can remember being here in the years that I've been coming, Fred, that I haven't seen either no leaves on the trees or at least most of them gone in yellow and orange and red colors. But still, pretty place when the trees are green, too, isn't it?
Sure is, Rod. And you know what? And I live here in Ohio, like I said, close by, and I'll take this warm weather for a little bit longer. You know, we've had a great summer. It's been warm. We've had a little bit of cold, but not like our normal. And, you know, this just makes for great racing today. Sure, the leaves are nice and cool when they're turning, but they're going to turn, and winter's going to be here soon enough. We're going to say, man, I wish it was warm. So, and looking at the mud hole here, you can tell the leaders are coming to the finish line because this crowd that was down there, Rodney, they're all heading up this way because they know right now it could be anybody's game right now. It's not one guy out in the lead, way out ahead. You know, Adam McGill is leading. Walker Fowler's right there. Chris Borges is right there. Bryson Neal's a little bit behind him, but it's still anybody's race, and that's what's neat about GNCC racing. You know, Walker Fowler got that lead. He came in for that little bit of gas, which should have been routine, in and out with the IMS cam, but you get a little bit excited and a little bit of foul up in the pits, and boom, Walker's goes from first to second. So now Adam McGill's back in the lead. He gives him the thumbs up, and now Adam's got that adrenaline going on him, and Chris Borch is right there, so he can make his patent pounce. So it's anybody's race at this point. Here they are out in the open field right now.
Borch. Fowler on the inside of McGill on the grass track. You're probably seeing it on the video.
There you
10-4,
go.
we're watching it. We're watching it. Way to call it, Bill.
Inside to try to make it happen. Look at the power Walker's going in there. Walker's trying to put a little move on, but Adam McGill saying no way. He's holding his line, keeping that Honda out front. Chris Borch is waiting for those two guys to come together and him just pass them both.
Wow, watching this unfold. And Bill Allen, we're keeping an ear out and watching this ourselves right here on the video. Good stuff. And, wow, good call there by Bill Allen out of Athens, Ohio.
It's still the same line. You got to have a good race to finish there.
10-4.
Whoa, what's Bryson Neal doing?
What's going on with Bryson Neal? Why is he going back? Wow, Bryson.
I think the other player's moving ahead. He's not that far back.
Oh, he's got a flat tire or something? That guy's getting some air? Up. He's getting gasoline.
Gas. Oh, that's not a good thing right there.
Yeah, that's
for him.
not something you can do unless it's another rider.
Right, and they must fuel in the pits. And
right
we do
there,
have a track
GNCC guy
right
could give him fuel, but he can't do that.
They just told him that that's a no-no.
Yep, he's done.
He's done. So what a heartbreaker there for Bryson Neal. A mistake, and that's one thing that we got, and we reiterate it every time, that the riders are not allowed to refuel anywhere but the pro pits unless a rider runs completely out of fuel and he gets enough fuel to get back to his designated pro pit area.
You know, if Bryson would have waited another 10 seconds when that GNCC official got there, he's allowed to give him gas, like you said. He could have gave him a gallon or whatever it took to get him back to the pit, so he could have finished that lap out and been okay.
What a heartbreaker, and I think that was trail boss Jeff Russell. And I know Jeff hates to have to make that call. Any of the trail bosses out there hate to have to make those kind of calls, but that is a blatant rule, and unfortunately, it's one that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but ignorance sometimes, if you're not sure of it, it can come back to bite you. And he just wasn't sure of that rule right there, and that right there is going to come back to bite him. And now, what the actual repercussions of that will be, I'm not 100% sure. We'll get the official standings on that a little later on, but we do know that was a no-no, and we do know that we saw a track official telling Bryson just that. Right now, we are waiting, though, here. 10-4, Bill. We're going to keep an ear out, keep calling them in. So heading toward the 8. 10-4. So next time we get a report from Dead Deer Holler, one of your favorite places there, Fred, at the 9.5 mile marker.
Yeah, you know, if I was a spectator right now, I'd be going over to the finish line. If these guys stay like they do, Rodney, we've got all them great S-turns coming in. Walker Fowler's going to be trying to go high-low, and Adam McGill and Chris Borch is going to be right there. This is going to be exciting last 3 or 4 corners.
Oh, man, this is going to be the barn burner that we've been looking for quite some time. And the great thing about it is Chris Borch is right there with both of those guys, and he is in position to take win number 74. That's what he's been looking for, man. And I tell you, if he can do it, it's been almost 2 years. It was Ironman in 2014, the last time that Chris Borch was able to get a win. And as a matter of fact, I keep thinking about this Powerline Park. You can't think about Powerline Park and not think about Chris Borch and the 6 wins that he has here. And you can't think about Chris Borch without thinking about Bill Balance. And guess what? The 9-time GNCC champ is here today. He's going to be riding in the UTV race here this afternoon. We'll be talking about that. We'll have UTV racing coming up on RacerTV.com here shortly. But Bill Balance is going to be racing in a UTV is what I'm being told.
Wow, he's them boys better look out. He was crazy on a quad. Now he's in a UTV.
Well, as we were saying there just a few moments ago, we had some great racing earlier this morning. The youth class there we saw with Devin Carruthers taking the win. We mentioned about the Kevin Cunningham and the championship win. And, of course, Cody Miller took the 4x4 overall win this morning, and we had a chance to catch up with those guys as well.
I didn't really know what to expect as far as the 4x4 Pro class. I did some work in the off-season to try and learn the quad and do my best with getting the setup right. Mostly top 5. I've won a couple races. I won the last race, and I'm hoping to come out with these last 2 races and have some good results so that I can hopefully advance my position a little bit. I'm sitting 5th place right now in the points, but there's only a few points between me and all the way up to 2nd place. So if I can do well, finish on the podium these last couple races, hopefully I can break into the top 3 for the championship.
We've had an awesome year. Can-Am come on board with us this year. We're in a few select races in the 4x4 Pro class and last year, and Can-Am stepped up and kind of gave us the opportunity to show us what we can do. And it's been a heck of a year. I've had a lot of fun. It's going to be tough to do. This class is, super competitive, but I think we can get it done today in the mud and hopefully have a good ride.
Well, I tell you, Kevin Cunningham, no stranger to GNCC, but he is a stranger to winning those 4x4 championships. Congratulations. At Waffle Tad, I think is what they're saying, is won the Waffle Ted. At Waffle Ted won the AMSOIL GNCC. Fowler McGill Borch is what he called, but regardless of how it finishes up, he still gets $250 in AMSOIL product. Congratulations to you. As we wait right now, we wait with bated breath about 4.5 minutes. We'll call it 5 right now before we can expect to see the leaders come through for the checker flag. We're out near the 9.5 mile.
Oh.
10-4.
So there you go, Rodney. They're all still together, and now they're catching lappers. So now Adam McGill's in the hot seat because he's got to pick which way to go around the lapper, and if he goes right and the lapper goes right, whoop, there goes Walker Fowler. So Adam he's got some serious pressure on him right now, not only from Walker Fowler, but from himself trying to get around these lap riders.
Wow, so this is going to be pretty exciting. And we were talking about that crowd down at the mud hole there just a few moments ago. Well, they found another mud hole, but this one's up by the finish line. It's not a part of the track right now. As the crowd makes their way into the finish line region, they want to see this one go down to the wire. They are about to see, I think, quite possibly one of the most exciting finishes we will have here in 2016, except for maybe the last lap little get-together that we saw when Chris Borch nearly won earlier this season, if I'm not mistaken, around Georgia or South Carolina or something like that. But this right here, my friends, is certainly bringing the life back into GNCC ATV racing as we make our way here to the Powerline Park. And we are just moments away from the checkers, and we are moments away of finding out who's going to be able to take this. And will Walker Fowler be able to clinch and secure that second consecutive GNCC ATV title, as all the kids are having fun all around, and all these junior mud fleas, I guess is what we can call them down there. Look at that.
looks like a little Caleb Russell. I remember seeing Caleb Russell playing like that at his grandfather's farm down in Millfield, Ohio. I believe I've got pictures of him doing exactly that same thing right there. But here we are back on the trail. We are waiting with bated breath. They said that the lap traffic was just ahead of them. We saw a lot of that ourselves right here, Fred Andrews. Right now there's a little break in the action. Here comes some more. And I don't know if that's lap traffic or our leaders. They're moving pretty quick.
I think that might have been our leaders, Rodney.
And there is a gap between them and the next lap traffic, so they've worked their way through some of that, but they're still nose to tail as they make their way down through this section of the racetrack.
Yeah, Rodney, right now, they're just nose to tail. There's not much they can do in this tight section like that, but when they get out to the open where all the spectators are gathering now that we're at the mud pit, it's going to be on over there. It's going to be wreckers or checkers.
That's it. I think that's the way they're all thinking, except for Walker Fowler. Walker's thinking of, I would imagine, looking at the big picture right now. This is a championship, and he does not want to throw it away today.
I don't know about that, Rodney. I think he wants to win. I think the championship's not. He's not even thinking about that right now. I think he's thinking about winning. He's past the championship.
Welcome to my.
Yeah, this is Walker Fowler's house.
That's it.
It's time to put it on the box. Put it in the middle.
Will it be Walker Fowler's house, or will Chris Borch be able to sneak in, win number 7, or can he do it? Can Adam McGill hold on to it and take the win here? That's a pretty good possibility as we wait again, waiting for these three to make their way in, nose to tail. McGill, Fowler, Borch, 1, 2, and 3. That's the way we saw them there at the 9.5-mile marker. That's the way they went into the dead deer holler, and now this is the way we maybe anticipate to see them coming into these final few chicanes here, pushing their way to the finish line. The closing moments of the Polaris Ace Powerline Park GNCC is upon us, folks, and we, like I said, have got one of the most exciting finishes we've seen in quite some time here on the ATV side of things, coming right at you, full steam ahead. Fowler, McGill, and Borge, the three major players that everyone would have expected to see in this situation, are right where we expected them, nose to tail here in Ohio.
Walker Fowler may become the champion today, but Adam McGill is going to say, hey, you may be the champ, but I'm going to win today. I'm here to win, and let the cards fold as it comes.
That's it. Take
two more races left, and I'm here to win them both.
Take every win you can, man. Those championship or those points always are nice, but the win bonuses are even better. And being able to say, yeah, you might have got the championship, but hey, I was a thorn in your side the whole time, and what a thorn in the side Adam McGill has been so far here in 2016.
And we talked to Chris Sports at the last race.
And here they come into the finish line region now, and I believe that is Walker Fowler out front leading this pack right now as it look right behind.
No, Adam McGill. It's Adam McGill.
Is that Adam McGill?
Yep.
Yeah, it is McGill. And then that's Fowler in second, and there's Borch in the number 3 spot. Are we going to see a push for the pass here? Last couple of turns now. There they are. Oh, Walker Fowler slides out. Chris Borch going to try to get around.
And Walker Fowler's got no goggles on, Rodney.
Uh-oh, can this be a big break for Chris Borch here? Can he get around the number 521 now of Adam McGill as we make our way into this final turn? Who's going to come out of these final turns out front? It is Adam McGill. Adam McGill and Chris Borch, and actually Walker Fowler in that number 2 spot, but mercy sakes alive, listen to this, 0.422 back to Adam McGill. Transponder scoring says just 1 second back to Chris Borch. Between the three, less than a second and a half separating those three. The literal, you could throw a blanket over these top 3 as they made their way into the finish line to take the top 3 overall. Again, Adam McGill takes the win. Walker Fowler in second, Chris Borch in third. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that should pretty much come close to sealing the deal for Walker Fowler. We'll be doing some tabulations and some tallies, but we'll know for sure coming up shortly whether or not that's championship number 2 for Walker Fowler or not. But I tell you, all the glory today goes to Adam McGill. You got to be pumped up for Chris Borch as well, as he put in a spectacular ride. You can't take anything away from the number 5 of Bryson Neal. A little bit of a mistake there. Making that mistake on that last lap, it's going to take him completely out of the running for it today. But regardless, he's back in it physically. We know he's there. We know when we head to the Ironman here in a few weeks, Fred, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. All these guys are going to be coming out running and gunning. Every one of them's going to want to win. Championship will likely be pretty much done and over with. It'll be just a matter of bragging rights and who's going to leave these guys with the taste in their mouth heading into the offseason for 2017.
And Chris Borch came out out and proved what he said last weekend, Rodney. He said, if I get off the line with those guys, I can run with them all day. But I haven't been able to get off the line with them. They've been too far ahead, and I couldn't catch up. Well, he was there all day long. He got off the line. He can ride with them. So, yes, he definitely proved that he can ride with those guys. And I think Indiana is going to be just as much of a barn burner as this race.
Man, that is just amazing. It's got me excited. I hate to wish my life away, but I cannot wait for the Ironman GNCC coming up the weekend of October 29th, I believe is the date on that. It's like 3 weeks away, but Lordy be, I tell you, man, what a great race day we had here today. I'm just beside myself. I can't, the adjectives just can't come fast enough about how great this day was. So what we're going to do, we're going to correct ourselves, Fred. We're going to check in with the XC2 Pro-Am here in just a moment, find out who our top amateur is, who heading into this last lap was Devin Fehan in a 7th place position. So stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
The wrong coolant can give you bad stuff like this and this. You need the right stuff. Evans Waterless Engine Coolant. It's waterless for a reason. Smart guys make it and smart people use it. Don't take any chances. Get the right stuff. Go to evanschooling.com for more.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
At Rocky Mountain ATVMC, we want to help increase rider participation at your next race, rally, or club event with our free Race Gas program. Join Race Gas, and every rider that signs up for your event or club gets a free $10 gift card to Rocky Mountain ATVMC. It's that simple. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from St. Clairsville, Ohio. It is the Polaris Ace Powerline Park GNCC. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews and, of course, Megawatt Matt Watson, who's making his way down to the winner's circle right now and getting ready to celebrate. Wow, what a day here today, man. And coming into this one, it was going to be dry. 2 days ago it started raining, and all of a sudden this guy right here finds himself with probably some of the biggest challenges of the year, man. You can see bike problems out there. Looks like a little overheating. And I think that's A.J. Kuntz who was leading the Bet 28 Plus. It is. That's exactly who that is. A.J. Kuntz, Tommy Kuntz, for some of you folks that know him.
2 hours of riding your tail off, only to have a mechanical breakdown.
Man,
that's racing, man. He did his best. The machine let him down, but hey, he'll come back in 2 weeks or at the Ironman and do it all over again. He'll forget all about this right now, you know. And me as a racer, the last lap, you're thinking, why didn't you break the first lap? You know, I could have took it easy back at the truck, but man, you ride the wheels off that thing and it breaks down. It's heartbreak, but that's part of the sport.
Well, he certainly left enough time out on the racetrack today to leave a taste in the mouth of those guys in that Vet A class. Let's take a look at how things were going before that. AJ was leading, had a 2-second lead over Jeff Pickens, so that should put Pickens in with the win. Dustin Hendershot was 1 minute and 34 seconds back. Joey Margaria was back in fourth, another minute and 10 seconds. And I don't know, but it sounds like maybe Matt Watson might be standing by down there. Is that what's going on? Evidently not. I thought I heard his mic come on there. But nonetheless, tough break there for A.J. Kuntz. Pickens, Hendershot, Margaria will be the top three over there, overall down there. We are making our way down to the podium right now. And just to give you a heads up, XC2 Pro-Am, Wesley Wolf takes the win in the XC2 Pro-Am class. Marty Christopherson, 25 seconds back in second. And it was Cody Collier, only 2.6 seconds back in the number 3 spot. Cody's going to be one to keep an eye on when we roll into the Ironman, I have a feeling. And Devin Fehan, who we saw as far up as 6th place overall, finishes out the day, it looks like, should be. Well, we ain't over. It's not over yet. We don't want to make the call on this one just yet, because once he checks in, we'll know a little bit more, because he might still be a solid overall top 10. I'm thinking 6th, 7th place position, especially with Bryson Neal out of it. That might have moved him up another spot. So that'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. But wow, Fred, what a day, man. Your take on this one, man.
Well, Rodney, this is exactly what I thought would happen. When this weather changes like this, perfect conditions, these guys can race nose to tail. And this track has got a little bit of everything, like I said earlier. We got some mud holes. We got the water crossing down there. We got Dead Deer Hollow. So it kept the racing close all day long. But when you're going this fast, you can't afford little mistakes. And that one little mistake cost Walker Fowler the win today. I think he waited his game. He got into the lead where he wanted to be. Couldn't shake those guys. They were all nose to tail. Adam McGill and Chris Borch stuck with him, and he got just a little bit of a gap. Maybe he rode extra hard because he knew he had to stop for gas, but he got a little bit excited. You know, he took off a little bit early, and then it just snowballed from there. Mark Notman couldn't get the can out because it was at an angle, and boom, you know, that cost Walker Fowler the win today.
It did. And Adam McGill did everything he could today to keep his hat in the ring for that national championship title. He had to go out and win and just hope for things to settle in behind him in his favor. Another interesting point today is the ride that we saw out of Chris Borch. You mentioned that a few moments ago before we went to break. You said last week, if I can get out with those guys, I can usually finish with those guys, and that's exactly what we saw happen here. And that's another step in the right direction for Chris Borch. And I think seeing these guys on the podium today and what kind of physical condition they're in after this race is going to tell a lot of the tale as well.
Yeah, right. I think they're all going to be a little bit tired today, actually, because I think they haven't rode this hard as a group in a long time. You know, when you're by yourself, you can kind of cruise and you got a good pace going, but when you're nose to tail like that and the adrenaline's pumping, I think these guys are going to show be a little bit more tired than they normally are, but every one of them's going to have a smile on their face because Adam McGill rode the wheels off that thing. Chris Borch rode the wheels off his, and so did Walker Fowler. None of these guys got anything to be ashamed of. They did the best they could do. They rode nose to tail, and that's just the way the cards fell today.
Yeah, and speaking of Bill Balance, again, Bill will be back. Will be here with us today. We understand that he's going to be racing in the side-by-side race coming up here at about 4:30. You guys can tune back in on RacerTV.com to find out more details about that. That's going to be exciting, I think, Fred. And I myself am excited to see the old champ back on the track, even if it is with a cage. And speaking of old champs, there's the 6-time champ, Chris Borch, making his way up onto the podium for that 3rd place position as the crowd, I know, is going wild down there for him. That's 6-time winner here at the St. Clairsville champ. Again, Chris Borch and Walker Fowler may have claimed this house, but I think the deed still belongs to that guy right there, if truth be told.
Yeah, and you can see, you know, he's up there. He's got a smile on his face. Of course, Adam McGill, he's always a character on the podium, so it's going to be interesting to see him and hear what he has to say. And, you know, Walker Fowler's going to hold his head high today, too.
Look at him reveling in the crowd. And, of course, Walker Fowler going to be making his way up here in just a moment. Let's head on to... Yeah, look at those Yeah, those are made from recycled ATV parts, and they look like power lines. That one, the overall trophy... Tire nipples, clutch baskets, and spokes are all on there right now. That's what makes the Powerline
That's awesome.
Tower, the power tower there. And, man, Adam McGill gets to take that one home. Of course, you got the cool-looking sprocket there that Chris Borch and Adam McGill is going to have. And the idle chit-chat there on the podium between two of the top competitors in today's race. Man, what a great battle. They talk about it now amongst themselves. Let's head down with Megawatt Matt Watson here in just a second, where they will talk with him and give him the lowdown on everything that took place. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now from a spectator standpoint, thank you very, very much for all that you brought to the table here today as far as this Powerline Park GNCC is concerned.
And right now, Rodney, you can see these guys are talking about the race. You know, they were out there for 2 hours, riding the wheels off that thing, and Adam McGill saying, hey, do you remember when we went in this section and you almost got me? And he's like, yeah, I remember it. It's just, that's the cool part about racing. On the track, you're racing, but you don't want to take each other out or be rough with each other. But when you're off the track, look, they're smiling and talking and having a good time, getting ready to think about what they're going to do for the next round.
All right, now we made mention about what these guys will be looking like physically after this race, and man, both these guys looking pretty fresh. Look how fresh Chris Borich is looking right now. I think the training program is working well for him. Looks like Adam's training program is working for him, and I think Walker will be in the same scenario. But here's something interesting. Walker hasn't made it to the podium yet. I got to think they're probably getting pretty amped up and excited about
yeah, they're probably over there washing that bike off. Donnie Lutz from Yamaha came here to celebrate the championship that Walker won, so they want to make sure everything's nice and clean, get some nice photos for the magazines, and Walker's just probably, you know, he's celebrating, I imagine, Rodney.
Oh, yeah.
With his crew, and then he'll be back up to celebrate with all of us. Or him and Mark Notman are going, hey, what happened at that gas stop? I said up, you said down. What are we doing? But no, I think
they're having a team meeting. That's how important that gas stop was. And Mark Notman's going to come out with his ear skint back a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I think
that's heat of the battle. That's all that was. You know,
exactly.
He wanted to go, and sometimes you got to slow, and it's just part of racing. And hey, it all turned out good.
I tell you, my favorite. I could just see the smile underneath Adam McGill's helmet when he went around Walker Fowler and looked back at him. Pretty much gave him a thumbs up and pointed at him. I think whenever he went by him around that turn right there. I mean, you could literally see nothing but teeth under Adam McGill's helmet, I believe. And I couldn't see him, but I mean, they just they glowed from out from under there. He was smiling.
Because that's Adam McGill's personality. That's Adam McGill. He's just always happy and smiling, a crowd favorite, and
yes, he is. As you see him now playing to the fans down there, the McGill Mafia out in full force here today. The MM521. I like McGill Mafia machine there, and man, reveling in the moment. That's certainly a great thing to do, and still waiting on Walker Fowler to make his way down to the finish line right now.
Got himself a brand new Moose jersey on to show everybody his sponsors, along with Chris Borich with his Fly jersey, and we're just waiting on Walker Fowler.
This could get interesting right here. What is Adam going to do to Megawatt? He just put an arm around him.
Yeah,
that also makes me nervous. Makes me nervous. When Adam McGill walks up and puts an arm around you, you know something's about to happen. And right now we're just getting geared up. But again, let's look how fresh these guys are, man. I mean, I know they got fresh jerseys on, but I'm just talking about the freshness in their faces and their smiles. I mean, their physical attributes. You know, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, after a race like what you're seeing out there, I think that we could have tended to see these guys with their tongues hanging out and just barely hanging on to it. I mean, it's amazing what the training regiments have done for these athletes, and the level, Fred, of training, what it has brought racing to.
You know, I was just thinking, something off key of what you're doing, Rodney, is last time Adam McGill came out talking like, you know, I think I'm going to retire, I think I've had enough. Didn't he win?
I think so. He's talking about starting a family and retiring and all that stuff. There he is, your newly crowned national champion. I believe we're going to have that in just a few moments. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but let's not spoil the surprise. Let's get ready to celebrate with Adam McGill and his big Powerline Park GNCC win as we throw things down to our own Megawatt, Matt Watson.
All right, Rodney, thanks a million. Hey, let's hear it, Powerline Park, for our top three overall here today. Adam McGill, Walker Fowler, and Chris Borich. We need to get these guys up on the front of the podium here real quick, get our class picture taken. Walker taking just a second there, getting everything in order. Got a special presentation, of course, to take care of here in just a second. But let's go ahead and get our class picture taken care of right now. Going to get our podium celebration underway as soon as Ken Hill gets all his shots. But one more time, Powerline Park, let's hear it for our top three today. Let's hear it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, 2 hours of racing, these guys separated by less than 10 seconds. Are you kidding me? Does it get any better than that? That's what we're talking about. Hey, Ken, you good to go, buddy? We ready? All right, over here with number 3 right now. In that third position, Chris Borich, man. You and ODL are getting it done today, man. Out there on the hunt, on the prowl.
Yeah, for sure. We got a good start there and just kept these guys in sight, and that's the big thing right now, just trying to keep them in sight and just pushing the pace. But, yeah, we were good. We were a lot better than last week. We had some problems last week. Came back, regrouped, and obviously we didn't get the win, but we were right there. So big confidence booster, and we're ready to play.
man, I tell you, you never cease to fail. You always find some speed, you find some fitness, you always find something in between rounds, man. Congratulations to you for finding new settings and new ways to get up front, man.
Yeah, for sure. We're always trying stuff, and obviously last weekend was just a bummer. I mean, that was probably my worst ride ever to the date, and just bummed out about it. And then this past week was just sick as a dog, and they really didn't get to ride too much, but we did some changes and got the bike working a lot better, and can't complain.
Awesome, man. Who you want to say thanks to today?
Definitely my mom and my dad, my wife Dawn, my friends, everybody that came out. Obviously, I can't do it without those guys. I mean, it'd be tough, but definitely Max's Tires. They hooked up awesome out there. Weisco, CV4, Scott, Renthal, Forworks, the Serbies, Yield Cycle Barn, McCormick's, all those guys, Dougie and Hunter, and all. Just everybody's out there pointing me lines, helping me out. It's a big thing. SSI decals for keeping me looking good. Fox Shocks were working awesome. Ryan and those guys, Jim, are here this weekend, so glad to see those guys finally. VP Fuels, Twin Air, Tire Balls. Tire Balls was a must out there with some sketchy rock spots. Evans, Hyper Wheels, Quad Tech, Energy Controls, OIP, IQ, Precision, Track, Precision, I said Precision, Henson, Track, HMF, Amsoil, Chris and Max from Fly. I can't thank those guys enough. I mean, keeping me looking good, keeping me fresh all the time, and if anybody I forgot, thank you.
Awesome job. Let's hear it, you guys. Chris Borsch, third place today. All right, and over here on the far end of the podium, finishing second place today, Walker Fowler. Man, Walker had this thing. You were up front for most of the day. Looked like you were on cruise control for a bit, and then able to work your way into the lead, then lost the lead exiting the pits, man. Tell us what was going through your mind.
Well, we got a whole shot, and we kind of all got tangled up in the first corner, so I had to lean back and give her the old number one there. And I shouldn't have done that. I got in the woods. I made a mistake, went back to third in the first 10 seconds of the race, and I was like, well, you know what? That's probably better. I really don't want to hit that mud jump down there first because as we come up to it, I was just getting ready to take off. Chris is in the air, and Adam's landing, and his feet are the only thing I see, and I was just like, oh, no. And we all landed in the same spot. I hit hard enough that I blew the goggle lens out of my goggles, so that hurt. And I was just like, ah, dang. So ran the whole first lap with no goggles, and not a good race to not have goggles. So just tried to close my eyes and ride, and stayed up to the front. And I was like, man, there's just not a whole lot of good pass lines. There was a couple, but I knew they were going to get blown out by the end of the race and be the main line. So we elected to pit at the end of the first lap and try to use a pit strategy. And I had to get goggles again. It's just nothing wrong with the Scots, man. Just it was bad luck. Every time I'd put a fresh pair on, I'd get hit with something. It would just break them. And I was like, this is just not my day. But we just kept fighting all day. Like I said, we did that pit strategy. Didn't work either. And then got back in the lead, and Dad wanted to get a splash of gas there. And he's like, you got 10 seconds. We have plenty of time. And I was like, dude, he's literally right behind me. But so we got past there, and there was a whole fiasco with the can was riding around in there. I had a passenger for a couple feet. But, overall it was a struggle of a day, but feels good to get this championship wrapped up.
I'll bet. Hey, Walker, and on that note, congratulations on today's second place. But you know what? We've got a special presentation right now. Right now, I'd like to bring to the front of the stage Racer Productions Director of Pro Racing, Mr. Roy Jansen.
Matt, thank you. Walker, we race for championships. That's why you're here. On behalf of the entire GNCC community, it is our pleasure, all of our pleasure, to give you another #1 plate. Congratulations. What a great year.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you, fans. Thank you, Yamaha. Thank you, everyone. These awesome guys. We put on a heck of a show today, and I don't think anyone was disappointed. Pretty good, clean racing. Definitely was aggressive, but, man, it doesn't get any better than that. Never felt in danger once. So, Roy, thank you. AMA, thank you. And GNCC, thank you.
Thank you so much, Roy. Thank you, Walker. Congratulations. And then over here in the middle, today's overall winner, man. We know him as the crazed hillbilly. Adam, tell us all about today's race, buddy.
Oh, man, we finally got that thing to start. The Dirtworks 24-volt system fired the machine up. Ball motor pulled awesome off the line. And like I said, them CST tires dug all day long. This super slick stuff, it was just no problem. You know, our custom axis shocks, like you said, the mud hole jump was a little sketchy. I said, hell with it, I'm going to jump on the worst end of it. I did, and feet came off the peg, and I was like...
Looked like you landed on the worst end of it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, fecal matter. I hit my spars, and it was, I mean, just, it was gnarly. The first lap was sketchy as hell because you just didn't know what was out there. You didn't know how deep stuff was, and coming through, I really didn't want the lead, and I knew he was kind of taking it a little easy, and I was like, damn it. So I tried it, and luckily we got through it. So, I mean, like I said, pretty much a flawless day, you know, with the issues we've had with our motor coach. It's been in New York, and I've been missing the youth races. I've been getting caught up. You know, all the kids tell me how they're doing. We got a couple champions out there, and, you know, I feel bad, but damn, not too bad for coming in a vandalizer with an easy up, you know.
Yeah, riding creeper style, man. Hey, who you want to say thanks to today, buddy?
Oh, definitely, you know, my dad for working on this thing. We finally got it started. You know, my wife, Haley, now, you know, she's definitely, she's been there thick and thin. She was up in limbo. She didn't even go come today. She goes, oh, if you ain't going to win, she said, I'm just going to stay home. So she came.
Hey, get used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so she came today, and you know, my sisters, my mother, all the fans, you know, with Wexer, and all you mud fleas out there. You guys are muddy. You guys kick ass, man. That was awesome out there. And you know, like I said, CST tires. We have induction solution with the nitrous. We couldn't pull the whole shot, but we dropped the jet in a little bit. I think fired it up, took right off. So, you know, and then we had Spider graphics, tire blocks, no problems all day, as Chris said. DeRisi Racing, Lone Star DC Pro components, like I said, custom axis shocks, ball motors, Alco cleaner to clean this pig up. You know, RG Honda for supplying me with the machine. I think we might have one new one for Ironman. You never know. So we'll see if we can get that. FMF, GoPro, Get It Performance, Hyper Wheels, no issues all day with them. Cycro ODI grips, the Dirtworks 24 volt, like I told you guys. UPP, Wiseco pistons. This is a Wiseco event. We're running every product they make. Damn good stuff, guys. You should check it out. Vanilla Gorilla skids, Liat Keep Me Safe, Flex bars, IMS, and then we have, you know, Pirate MX for some parts that I need. Twin Airs, Sunstar. We've got Moose Racing, keeping me looking good. DP Brakes, stopping this thing. Scott Goggles, no issues all day. Works Connection, RGR for the McGill line of products. Streamline brake lines, Quadtech, Evans. This thing never got hot all day. I'm working on it. Bellray Oils, damn, it's cool, no issues. All balls, keeping me rolling smooth. Renegade Fuels, this thing's thirsty. Mayor Plastic outerwear for keeping from sucking them Yamahas up in this thing. Mayor, boys in, the throttle out. So thank you guys out there. Let's go to Ironman!
That's it, Ohio. One more time. That's it. One more time. Let's hear it. All right, you know what time it is, man. We're going to hand you this one. Chris, you got your bottle? Where you at, Walker? There we are, brother. You know what to do with that thing. Oh, hey, 1 second here, guys, before you fire those off. Got one more award for Walker here. That whole shot award today. Walker, hey, man. On behalf of Wiseco Performance Products, man, $250 today for your XC1 ATV whole shot ATV award.
Yeah, we got the start, and it's actually better if I just don't get the start, I think, and follow for the first couple seconds because I blew it right there at the beginning. But thanks, Wiseco. You know, definitely, again, thanks, fans. Appreciate it. A lot of my family came. Thank you guys so much. And definitely just got to thank everyone, again, for coming. It's a dream come true to get 2 in a row. At least I wasn't the guy to mess it up, but we got to do this.
Pop that lid.
To the victor goes the spoils, and the spoils in GNCC, the sweet, sweet spray of champagne as these guys are in the celebration mode right now, Fred Andrews. And what a day, man. Congratulations again, Adam McGill, on a big win here today. Walker Fowler second, and his second national championship title. Chris Board, look at that. That's it, man. 2 good friends there, 3 good friends on the podium, if truth be told. Chris Board's finishing up 3rd. We'll see Cole Richardson in 4th, Jared McClure, the Sneaky Snake, in 5th. 6th place overall, 7th and 8th are your top 3 XC2 Pro-Am riders. Wesley Wolf, Marty Christopherson, and Cody Collier able to secure that 3rd place and 8th place overall. Devin Feehan ends up 9th overall, and your College A class 16 to 24-year-old class rider will be your top amateur of the day. Adam McGill throwing out the swag, and, well, we're going to throw it out and let things rest for a moment so we can reset the switches here and get back down to the starting line as we got UTV Racing coming up. Fred, it was great working with you today, man. Another phenomenal ride.
Yep, you know, Rodney, today was a great race. Tomorrow's even going to be another great race, so join us again tomorrow on RacerTV. and we'll see you tomorrow.
For sure. On behalf of Carrie Russell, our executive producer, producer Chelsea Taylor, along with Dan Reinhardt, our technical director and engineer, Mr. Michael Heston, and creative editor, Mr. Dylan Watley, as well as our camera operators, Josh Oleski, Andrew Mahey, Gloop, if you will, Tyler Wynn, Jamie Snyder, and Jordan McFadden. I'm Rodney Tomlin saying, great day, everybody.